Good evening, welcome to another edition of Sky Blue Fans TV. Well, what another frustrating afternoon it was yesterday. We're here to talk about it. We've got a team ready to chat about it. We're going to talk probably about the referee, about Frank Lampard's red card, the team selection, the performance, the mess up at the back. Loads to talk about. And we've got a Guess the Gate competition as well for you to enter. So try and win yourself a Sky Blue Fans TV mug. Guessing the Gate for the Pompey game. Very important, by the way. Pompey game on Wednesday night. So let's bring the team in and the panel. Good evening, Claudio.
Good evening, Ken.
Very bright. Is it a bit bright where you are, isn't it?
Well, we've got a bit of sunshine, haven't we, Ken? I've just been watching the Mancunian derby. Sunshine.
Right from his back garden, yes. You can see you caught the sun a little bit. Victoria, Eddie Sims, Victoria, good evening.
Evening.
Evening, how are you? You all right?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Good. And our guest tonight is Wayne Littlewood, none other than Wayne Littlewood. He hasn't been on for a couple of weeks, so he's back.
Good evening.
We always tend to get him on when we lose, don't we?
Has been noticed.
Anyway, look, we've got loads to chat about. Very frustrating yesterday. Where do you start? We're going to start with the team selection, obviously, to start with. But we've got loads to go through. Referee, Lampard, and basically there's going to be loads of comments coming in. So bear with us. Claudia, we'll get to you, hopefully, when we come to the comments. We'll try and get to the comments as soon as we can, as and when they come in. So we'll keep you up to date. So, Claudio, team selection then for the game. Ins and outs. Were you happy with it?
I think it was what we kind of expected, didn't we, really? Off the back of the previous game. Binks didn't cover himself in glory. Bidwell didn't. Obviously, Doven was injured. And then we thought about midfield. We weren't too sure about Rodoni coming in, were we? But it was good to see him back in. And we've said it before, this is all we've got, really. So you're kind of just juggling players around at the minute to get us through to the end of the season, I think. And I'm not sure there's a good team or a bad or a good lineup or a bad lineup, because there's so much of a muchness in amongst a lot of them.
A lot of them are very similar, aren't they? Some of the players,
and my key issue, and it has been, and Wayne knows about this because I posted it at the start of the season, the defence, don't matter who we play, don't matter what combination we play them in, are liable to cock things up, basically. That's what they've been doing it for 2 seasons almost. So what happened, we're going to talk about what happened yesterday later, but at the minute, that's all we've got. And apart from Milan and maybe Bobby Thomas, I wouldn't be bothered if all the rest went, if I'm honest, at the minute. Because I think there's much better out there. If we want to go to if we want to be where we want to be, as Doug King says, he needs to dip in his pocket, because Frank Lampard is not a miracle worker. He's turned things round at the minute, but he's no miracle worker, and it can't continue. And so, in regards to the team selection, I'm looking at it now. I don't think there's much he could have done with it apart from the ones he took out, basically. And I wasn't disappointed, and I wasn't surprised. Although, maybe Torp started, but he didn't show enough in that game at Sheffield, did he? Yet again, away from home, he doesn't really do it, does he? But
and I thought Alan deserved to keep his place, to be fair, because he's been quite consistent the last few matches, hasn't he? Okay, Vicky, what was your thoughts on the team selection? What did you think? Were you happy with it?
I think the same with Claudio, really. I mean, there's a few things you could have. There's a couple of options, but they're very much like Claudio's really just said, similar, like Torp, Allen, like whichever the defenders for Kitchen, again, alongside Thomas. I mean, De Silva, Bidwell. That's the few choices we've got.
Would you have put your favourite boy in?
What, Simmons? I had no issue with what White started. I actually think that Simmons should have come on earlier in the second half. Once Burnley got the lead, I thought we needed to change it earlier, and I would have brought Simmons on earlier in the second half, because I think the game changed the dynamic changes, then it almost became like that away day type thing where I don't think White offers enough. So, but I had no issue with White starting. Again, it's just it's just tweaks, isn't it? But there's not any fundamental different things that we can particularly do. So I mean, I saw it. I thought pretty much what I expected, and happy enough with it.
Yeah. Okay, Wayne, what's your views on the selection? Would you was it your team, or would you have made some changes for the starting lineup?
I was quite happy with the team. As Claudio's alluded to, I don't think there's a great deal he can do that changes a lot. I think you've hit the nail on the head. Torp didn't really warrant another place because away from home, you may as well play with 10 men when Torp's in the team because he's just bloody useless away from home. So, I don't think any of them really covered themselves with any glory yesterday. And I think, going back to what Claudio said, if we were to go up and he'd only keep Milan and Thomas, Milan I'd keep. Thomas, I would drop kick straight out of the team because it's not very often I disagree with Claudio because we're generally on the same level. But for me, Bobby Thomas and Liam Kitchen are just dreadful. They are, our defence for 2 seasons has been appalling. Do you
think they're the root? Do you think they're the root of the problem then? The 2 centre halves.
One of them, yeah. I mean, we've always had, for most of the season we had goalkeeper issues. For the last, before Dovin got injured, we rarely mentioned issues with goalkeeping for 10 or 12 games because we had a settled goalkeeper who was doing well. So, I think if Dovin's fit, we're okay. The defence has been an issue, and Thomas and Kitchen have mistakes in them all the time, and Binks as well. So, I all 3 of them don't cover themselves in glory. Jay Da Silva, again, not the greatest. Bidwell's coming to the end of his career, I feel. And then you've got a midfield that is, apart from Grimes and Rodoni, the rest are pretty much at the standard they're at. And I can't see them getting better if we were to go up. And then I think our strikers as well, a championship level. I wouldn't entrust any. I wouldn't, if we went to the Premier League with Wright, Sims and Bassett, I'd worry if any of them got over 3 goals each.
Well, it'd be interesting. I mean, we're going to talk about the keeper a little bit later on as well, obviously, after what happened. Sorry, Claudia, what were you going to say?
Oh, so that's a valid point Wayne makes about the strikers, because look at Luton when they went up with the guys who did really well, didn't they, in the Championship? And supposedly really good strikers could hardly do anything last season, and they're struggling now this season as well, aren't they? So it is a valid point. But we'd have to get a different set of players. You can't. We know that. Yeah.
Well, I think Lampard would know that as well. With the experience he's got, he would know that only certain players would be able to go the next level up. Certain players have got their level, haven't they? And there's a lot of Championship players that can't step up to Premiership level, if you like.
I can't remember that. If you were to go up, because I remember with Forest going up, let's just say we went up this season, and apologies, I don't really know the rules on this. Are you limited to like financial fair play within the Championship in your first season of the Premier League?
No.
I don't think it kicks in the first year. No,
it doesn't. No, or is it the second year? Because I know Forest were under it this season. Is that because of the second year?
Yeah, remember they bought a load of players, didn't they? They bought 20 odd players, didn't they, when they went up? Remember
I always presumed that for the first hit, you can't go out and literally blow 150 million on players because you're still under the previous financial year.
They did, didn't they? And they got docked 6 points.
Yeah, and that's.
They took the risk. They took the gamble.
In a position where we could go out and blow a load of money. I'm not too sure. If someone in the comments later could say that, just be interesting to know.
They took the gamble and they got docked 6 points, and it's paid off, hasn't it?
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah, well, it has, because they managed to stop up. So, whereas other teams haven't took the gamble and they've gone straight back down.
And in the second season, heading for the Champions League. So it's not a bad, it can be done for all those doom slayers out there saying we won't be able to handle it. It can be done.
Yeah,
Right.
well, it looks like the same three. I mean, Southampton were relegated today, weren't they? And it looks like the other two that went up will be following them shortly as well. I think, by the looks of the league table. So, it's difficult to keep your place once you're up there. But I say Forest managed to do it, so it can be done. But you just need a little bit of luck as well on the way. Okay, let's talk about the first half then, Claudio. We got off to a fantastic start, didn't we?
It's a
just
dream
what we
start.
wanted. So we always said we've got to score first against Burnley because otherwise we're going to be in trouble.
Well, the stats were there. They've gone behind in 6 matches before Saturday, and they've not won any of them. They've struggled to get back into games. We had the dream start yesterday. Whether it's offside or not is debatable. It could have been a penalty if it wasn't offside anyway, because it come off the guy's hand and deflected away. It was a good start. It was a solid start. I thought, this is quite interesting the way we started. The goal was brilliant. The way Milan went down the wing, stole the ball, ran in, got the cross in, the melee, everything about it. Even I know he's close in, but Haji Wright's spin and finish was great actually.
Udoni was lucky when he hit the post, wasn't he? To start with, Udoni.
But the whole build-up was great, and then you're kind of thinking, okay, just be steady. Now, role reversal, if that was Burnley scoring first, that would have been it. It would have been a 1-0 win. Somehow they'd have managed the game from 90 for 85 minutes, basically.
Yeah.
We can't do that, and we are so... the mistakes are always there, aren't they? And the one player you don't expect to lose the ball is Matt Grimes. Sloppy pass, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But then what follows that is annoying because Alan half-heartedly makes a tackle. He's got to do something more than that.
He's got to try and stop him there, isn't he?
Exactly. It goes out wide, and there's no pressure on the ball. And if you look at it, I've watched this so many times now. I think it's Bobby Thomas tells De Silva to get out there, basically, and he runs into the box. But so do 3 or 4 other players, which is bizarre. And then De Silva,
which leaves the man free in the box. Yeah.
Well, yeah, he doesn't go out far enough. He stops, and then he managed to get down the line. The ball gets played into their striker, and then Collins in goal has got to come out and take everything. He's got to get that ball. If he comes out, he doesn't do anything. He's a bit similar to Bidwell with that cross against Sheffield United. Didn't do anything.
He comes out, but then he stops, doesn't he? It's like you're kind of expecting him to run out and dive on the floor, but he just completely stops.
And what I don't understand is we normally mark zonal. So why does everybody run to the ball?
You had 5 players, including the goalkeeper, round 2 of their guys within 6 yards of the ball. And you had 2 guys at the back, unmarked, and you got Milan trotting in like it's a Sunday stroll.
Exactly. It's like they haven't seen the only danger in the box is that guy on his own.
Yeah.
And they just think,
and he back heels it lovely, doesn't it? The ball comes to him. He sows all of our defenders with a cheeky little, back heel. And you've got 2 guys there thinking, well, Christmas has come early. And Milan's trotting back like he can't be bothered.
And the frustrating part of that is we weren't a million miles off them. You know what I mean? It's not like they're totally outclassing us because they weren't, And with a bit more know-how, a bit more, gamesmanship.
Do you think that's down to the way they play, though? Because you read some of the comments after, like in the forum, and people were going, "Oh, we absolutely dominated that game. We pretty much battered Burnley all over the pitch." For me, that's how Burnley play. Burnley focus more on defending than scoring because they are that good at defending. They know that if they can nick a goal, they pretty much won't do anything because they're that good, and they will allow you to have the ball and pass it around and do whatever. And the second half, we had pretty much, but we didn't do anything with it. I can't even remember their keeper pulling off a save. Well, the thing is, brilliant, by the way, their keeper showed us what we need.
The thing is, Wayne, their keeper cost 15 million, going up to 19 million. He's 22. I mean, he's 6'5". He looked like 7 foot to me in goal. He looked huge.
Superb, he was. Yeah, and he wound up all of our fans a treat. But if it was the other way round, we would be praising how good he was and time wasting and falling over. But he commanded his box like an absolute stormtrooper. He was brilliant.
Yeah, well, that's it. He came out, collected crosses. He did what he had to do. And, we've not had a keeper like that. well, I think for a while, to be honest.
No, we haven't.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm looking at the first half, Ken. It was a great start. We did the usual thing of gifting a goal. We've done it now for 2 years in a position where I thought we looked a bit comfortable because they didn't really offer anything. And then from then, it's a totally different game. But that's how I weigh up the first half.
Yeah, I mean, same as me, really. I suppose 1-1, I suppose we would have been happy, really. But after taking the lead, you want to try and keep hold of it as long as you can, don't you? And we didn't really, it wasn't long before they scored. So we wasn't in the lead for that long. So it was disappointing, really, to go in 1-1. But after making a good start like we did. But, you know, that's the way it goes, especially against Burnley. Victoria, what was your view on the first half? You know, did you feel we deserved a little bit more, or it's about right scoreline?
I suppose. I mean, it was fairly level. I mean, I think I didn't feel the game changed after the first goal. I thought the game changed after the second goal because it was frustrating that we conceded that goal. And I agree with Claudio, when you saw the defenders like running to the ball, you're just thinking, what are you doing? Like leaving like all that space behind you. I had no idea. There's just too much like being drawn to the ball there. So it's just frustrating that we've given away a soft goal again. But Burnley Burnley needed 3 points as much as we did, really, didn't they? So I thought that the rest of the first half was still relatively open, and the first half I actually quite enjoyed the game. Thought we had some chances there, There's that one when De Silva whips that great ball in for Wright, and if they'd have scored that,
he weren't far off, was he? That's right in front of you, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I mean, winning 1-1, I thought we'll win a game. Like at least we're competing, which I didn't think we did against Sheffield United. So I sort of relatively enjoyed the first half, and I was thinking it's good that we got the first goal because we'd spoken about letting them get the lead and things like that. So I wasn't. I had high hopes for the second half, and unfortunately, within a few minutes, that changed.
Well,
I mean. I thought I'm just going to disagree as well because I actually thought that Thomas had a decent enough game yesterday. I think he made a mistake for that first goal, but other than that, I thought he actually played well. And for me, I'd be keeping him. I think that maybe we need to find out who would be best alongside him, and that's probably a recruitment job. But I actually do like Bobby Thomas, so I thought
I like Binks as well. I do like Binks.
Credibility yesterday. Personally,
I like
so
Binks. I like Binks.
To be fair, Vic, maybe that's what it is. Maybe someone like, I know I've given him a bit of a pasting early on, but if you had someone like a Fads next to Thomas, maybe that's what he needs, and maybe that's where his game would go up at the minute.
I don't think
he has much confidence in Kitchen, De Silva, and even Milan as well. So, maybe it's wrong, and he's trying to pretty much do 3 other people's jobs as well. And he's getting pulled from pillar to post. So, maybe I'm a little bit harsh. At the minute, I'd stick by it, but I can understand that if there was that Fads style defender there with him, his game probably would improve as well. So, it's a valid point as well.
Were you happy with the first half then, Wayne, performance-wise?
I was, I thought it was. It was a good start. I mean, but they came out the blocks quite well. They had an early shot, at Collins, and I thought Collins actually dealt with it quite well. Bit of confidence for him, and then Milan goes up, and it was a cracking goal. And the way he passed it, I think it was to Rodoni, who took it really well on his stride. I thought it was a cracking save by the keeper as well to put it on the post.
It was a lucky
and then. You just thought, the momentum's with us. You got all of a sudden you've got 27,000 people constantly singing and wanting you to go for it. And then I just thought we kind of sat back a little bit and tried to do a Burnley and thinking that we could hold on to this. And that's never the case. And I think from the minute they got that goal back, the half went a little bit flat, but it was 2 good teams going at it. So I thought it was good. And I thought overall it was a fair result going in at half time being 1-1. I had no arguments going in at that. I thought it was fair. Both teams were pretty much evenly matched. But I also thought Burnley had that level that they wanted to go at. You could see when the quick passing and the quick movement was just levels above what we're able to do. We're very slow with our passing. They were quite nice to watch.
Yeah,
I thought Cullen, Perez, and the other guy, Edwards, 22, 23, 24. That's how I remember them. They were good. That interchange in the passing was really quick, really fluent. And I kind of thought, oh, that's a level up, isn't it? That's quite quick. But it didn't get anywhere, did it? We sort of snuffed it out. But
I thought we coped with them quite well in the first half.
Well, the first half, they deserved all the applause, I thought. And of course, the referee deserved all the boos. But that's another discussion for a bit later. Shall I do some comments, Ken?
Yeah, I'm sure the comments are coming in. They're flying in. Let's go see what they say.
All right, bear with me tonight because there's quite a few. So, Sausage United, Oggy confirmed that Wilson isn't fit, but I think Lampard has to question, can you get through a game as Collins is shot to pieces? I'm hearing conflicting things. I'm hearing that he is fit. So,
why I was questioning it is why would they call back the youth team goalkeeper as cover if he was fit?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because we've got two keepers. I don't know why that was. Because he was on loan. There's only a few games to go for the season. You would have thought we'd have left him on loan, but
yeah. But in all fairness, if you get another injured keeper, you need your keeper back, don't you? So I suppose that's it. You do need 3 goalkeepers in your squad that are fit, I suppose.
Yeah.
Paul Cutterford, if we can't beat the top 3 sides, how do we get promotion? The top 3 sides have already been murdered in the Prem. Promotion only serves supporters and will be detrimental to the club and players. But what's the point? Because if you win games, you go up, don't you? Paul Stratton, even though Pompey is now a must-win, now playoffs is not in our hands anymore. Hope the gifted goal and loss of a point is not going to cost us in the season. Well, Paul, it kind of is still in our hands because we've got Middlesbrough and West Brom to play, so we can't. We beat them, we go above them, don't we? That's so we can do it still. Whether we want to, that's a different thing altogether, isn't it? Sausage United, you have to have ambition to be promoted. Smaller clubs, Brentford, Bournemouth, Fulham, Brighton have become established Premier League clubs, teams, and good leadership from the top. We could do the same. Look at Palace as well. That's another one.
Yeah, I've also said Brighton for me. Brighton have been fantastic. They were a similar sort of situation as those. They had no ground a few years ago. They were playing like a Greyhound Stadium, weren't they, with a running track around it. And look at them now. They're established in the Premier League and they've got the brand new ground and everything. So they're the benchmark, if you like. And we're a much bigger club than Brighton, supporter-wise. Well, so.
And they've not done it in 5 minutes either. That's the other thing. We've had a new owner for 2 years, basically.
Yeah.
Colin Brownfield, is it just one game Frank Lampard has to be in the stands for? I think it is. He can come and sit next to Wayne. I'm sure Wayne will give him a few pointers. Lee says, evening, good to see our giant cod flag doing the rounds before the game. Thanks, Claudia.
Yes. Nice to see the flag back. Did you request that, Claudia?
I'm not saying. Now you can ask them to fix the tannoy system in Singers Corner. It hasn't worked for months. Well, it's all right where I'm sitting.
To be fair, he's right there. It's not very clear in Singers Corner.
I have to keep shutting the door on the box because it's so loud. Evening, Liam Wass says, evening. Where to start, Collins? Where to start? Collins made me look a mug because I backed him, but he wasn't, never will be. Take Wednesday off, Brad. All his fault bar the ref. Finn says, has Collins been paid to stop our chances of playoffs? But seriously, he now needs to be nowhere near being our reserve keeper. Wilson turning into Tavares. The letter vlog says, fantastic show. Just subscribe. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much. Lead says, good evening, Ken, Vicky, Wayne, and John Lennon. I'm trying to be Liam Gallagher. So, I thought I was doing all right with my impressions. Obviously not. I need to work on that one, Vicky. From Mercia, Burnley goals were preventable, but you need to get more shots off. Let's please test the Pompey keeper more on Wednesday night. I can't remember which manager it was. It's probably someone like Warnock, where his philosophy was you need to get a couple of shots in the first 5 minutes just to, get the home crowd on your side straight away. And I know we scored in 5 minutes, but a lot of the times we don't have a shot for 20 minutes, do we?
That's right. We don't. Yeah, never shoot enough, do we?
No. Time to try something else on the left. EMC had a couple of poor games. Give Patterson a chance on Wednesday. Truth is, our back five not promotion ready. We need to shore up our weaknesses in the summer. PUSB from Phil Taylor.
Well, we're going to talk about that later on about team for obviously Pompey and stuff. I thought Patterson deserved a chance because I thought he did well when he came on against Sheffield United. And might have been an ideal game for him to chuck him in, but we'll see.
Wayne Bruton says, evening all, need the win Wednesday night. Doug Bolam, evening all, as much as I was sticking up for Collins on Thursday, I have to admit he cost us dearly. The officiating was the worst I've seen all season. It was absolutely dreadful. Glenn says, the ref didn't cost us the game, our mistakes did. However, the fact the ref didn't adhere to the laws of the game with his decision making is scandalous. Matthew Stone says, referee was awful, dreadful in fact, with persistent and consistent errors, as if he was constantly compensated for the previous error. First half, both teams had reason for complaint. Second was largely favouring Burnley. Finn likes a backdrop, Vicky. Now, you at home probably think that is a photo of Ellis Sims, but that is actually Ellis Sims behind Vicky. And that's that's what he's like during the game, isn't he, basically? Just motionless. So, there he is. Anyway, where Liam was, where do I start? Oh, no, we've done that one. Malcolm Bayliss, it's not black arts or gaming by Burnley, it's cheating. The poor standard of officials allows this. Then again, CCFC are too nice. I didn't know why Frank Lampard doesn't put Bassett on. Clark had a poor game. Well, from what I'm hearing, is I don't know if there's stuff going on in the background, but he's out of favour at the minute. Phil Bevan, evening all, great background, Vicky. Let's knuckle down with now 4 wins and we're in with a shout of securing a playoff spot. Marky Boy, baffled as to why the club renewed Wilson's contract when there's clearly no plan to govern him and give him any game time. Collins frightens me. He's too inconsistent and accident prone. Paul Stratton thinks Collins stays in the box. Kitchen heads it back to him. We'll be coming to that. Coming out distracts Kitchen. Game over. Disaster yet again. Mark Reed, these last 3 games are always going to be a challenge. Time to be positive. When it gets Portsmouth and crack on from there. I mean, it's true, though, because if we'd have drawn all 3 games, we'd have taken the 3 points, wouldn't we?
Well, this is what I said, yeah. I mean, if we would have said, we got 3 points after playing Sunderland, Sheffield United and Burnley, I know we got all 3 points in one game, but if we'd have took a point off each, we'd have been happy, wouldn't we?
And the thing is, we had to take the 3 points from Sunderland because we wouldn't have got anything for the other 2. We're just not good enough, really. I think that's the difference. Ellis James, evening, guys. If Dovin is out for a year, because I can't see him being back till before this time next year, do we bring in a new keeper as number 1? But then what? But what when Dovin is back? Is he a number 1? Well, I think we need a new keeper for the start of the season. We can't wait. Yeah. I don't know what you guys think. If we're going to be serious about this.
You don't know how he's going to come back, do you? He might struggle when he comes back. People struggle when they come back from an injury. So we can't hang around and wait. We've got to get a new keeper in, I think.
Also, if you've got aspirations of being better, you bring in a new number 1 who's like quality, and then Dovin's back and you've got 2 quality keepers, and ultimately that's what you want, isn't it? So that's growth, isn't it? Whether that was enforced, and we might not have done it as quickly otherwise, but I can't see an issue with that, really.
And the thing is, well, you're right, it's a risk, because they might be thinking, we don't want to spend money on a keeper, we'll just try and make do what we got, until he's fit, and spend the money elsewhere. It depends. I suppose it depends what they regard as the priority for next season.
And the budget, I suppose. Yeah.
Would a better defence mean you don't need such a good keeper for a start? It'll
be interesting to see what happens.
Adam Toms, there seems to be a gulfing class between the top three and the rest. 3 more teams will be down from the Premier League to replace the ones that go up, so we need to spend to get on the level playing field. Rich T says, defence not been sound since Fads left. I'd keep Bobby Thomas though. Dave Sports Photos. Let's try and avoid the Burnley result. Will not define our season. It's yet another meaningless cliche. What game does define a season? It's another avoidable defeat, Dave, isn't it, really?
Yep.
You know, Dawn says, loving the background, Vicky. Graham wants to talk about the dark arts in his comment. Ian Small says, hi, all decent performance, sport by 2 awful errors by Collins. Ref was the worst I've seen in years. I'm glad you got back to France safely, Ian. I believe that's where you're messaging from. Formation needs to change. EMC Tats need to show more aggression. Not in game at all. Why did we drop deep when we scored? They just played through us because our press was not aggressive enough. Lee Dan, here we go. Ooh. For Claudia and Wayne to say that about B, Thomas and Kitchen is disgusting. What about the long beaten run they contributed to? Fickle fans. Wayne saying kick Bobby into touch. Out of order, mate.
I'd keep Bobby, to be fair. I'd keep Bobby.
Well, it wasn't a long and beaten run, was it? Because we've lost 4 out of the last 14. And they've contributed. It's not. It depends. Well, put it this way, Lee. It depends what you want. If we want to get out of this division, we need better players. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, you need better.
That's all we're saying. That's literally all we're saying.
I mean, I may be proved wrong come May the 25th, but I don't think we're going to be in that playoff final at the minute. Looking at what I've seen in these 2 games against, I know it's Sheffield United and Burnley, but looking at what you need to produce, because we may be playing one of those teams in that final. You know, can you see us beating either? Not at the minute. You know. No. Ian Harris, hi, all team selection was fine. Burnley came to do a job. They know how to close it out, especially second half. Ugly to watch, but Operation PL is their objective. By hook or by crook, ref was appalling. Wayne Brewerton, he agrees. We need a clear out in the summer, whatever happens. Peter Doolan, good evening. All that so-called hard games out of the way. Now the last 6 to secure a top 6 spot. The ref was horrendous on Saturday, along with the play acting from the Burnley players. I'm no doubt we'll get a reaction on Wednesday. Gibbo, evening agreed. Defence has been poor for 18 months. Too many sloppy individual errors could cost us a playoff spot this season and could be blown away if we did get promoted. Matthew Stone, Bobby and Kitchen could play a level up, but we'd obviously have a tough season like all teams that go up. Chris Foster, the top 3 teams are way ahead of us. They're close for the rest. Paul Cuthford, how many players of better quality than we have now have left the club? We don't seem to keep quality, so we can't build a side with quality. And I'll read one more. Do them play? I'll read 3 more. I'm more than anyone. I was just seeing one. Lee Dan's coming back in. He's not my fan anymore. Phil Taylor, anyone who has not been enamoured with Grime so far. Defensively looks poor, in my opinion, and often looks flat-footed and slow. Attacking teams run past him with ease. I expected more. Cameron De Rossi. Do them players really want the playoff? They need to fight for it. It was Bobby Thomas' pass that caused Burnley first goal. He was way out. Yeah, he was way out of position. Yeah, we'll cut out Lee Dan. Keep Ken, Vicky, Miles, and Claudia lick Wayne into touch. Oh dear, Wayne.
I'd prefer to be kicked, not licked.
That's a totally different podcast, isn't it?
Yeah, that's after 9 o'clock, Lee. 9 o'clock, you can message me.
It's the watershed, yes.
Yeah. If we went up, says Chris Foster, it would be just for the money because we'd be straight back down. Then how it'd be invested. Well, yes, that's the. But it secures you. I think we do. Well, if we go up, we'll have a new owner. Pretty much guaranteed.
Yeah, I think so.
Mark Lights said also. Mark Lights said all season our defence are not consistent. Too many amateur mistakes, lack of quality against the top teams in our league. Burnley will come straight down, says Matthew Stone. If they go up, they didn't play football at all, just a bunch of old cloggers and slumping houses. Gibbo, Southampton relegated at Spurs today, singing K Sarah, Sarah, we're going to Coventry.
Well, it might not be.
Yeah, we'll charge them £37 for the privilege as well. Anthony Christopher, the Burnley actors were pathetic. I'm glad the Burnley fans paid £37 for that yesterday, actually. I'm actually delighted they had to pay top dollar. I know their team won, but
I feel sorry for the season ticket holders who have to watch their home games.
Yeah, it's just. Well, they had, is it 6-0 draws at one stage in a row? Or something?
They've had a few.
Something like that. Gavin Collins. Bobby Thomas was immense yesterday. Burnley players refed that game from start to finish. They created nothing of note. Defence played well, in my opinion. The defence played well. Bar Collins, keeper should be coming and clearing everything out with both of their goals. Definitely his fault for the second. He's looking at everything. His City career has to be over now. And I'll end it with somebody saying, Wayne, you're right.
Oh.
A Sports Photos. Wayne, you're right. Some said they didn't get any chances when they were 2-1 up. No, because they didn't need to. Right.
Well, there you go. We have got a Guess the Gate competition if you'd like to enter. Guess the Gate for the Pompey game. Very important game on Wednesday night, of course. So it should be close to a sellout, but we want to know what you think it would be. The closest to it would obviously win a Scarborough Fans TV mug. Vicky's will be writing the answers, well, the correct answers down. We'll put them all, the nearest one to it obviously will win the mug when we get the official gate, and we'll announce that on Thursday's show. Right, okay, let's move on to the second half then, Claudio. What's up? You got the cat in the way again?
No, I was just laughing. Let's move on to the second half.
Yeah, okay.
I reckon half the stadium missed the goal, didn't they?
And a lot of people coming back from their coffee break, their comfort breaks. You were still tucked into your meal, weren't you, in the box? When you,
no, I was out. I was I was going to miss it.
But a lot of people did miss it, and well, it was a calamity, weren't it? That's no, there's no doubt about it. It was, it's one of the more you look at it, the more you get annoyed with it and think, just clear the bloody thing, get it rid of it. One of you take charge, and nobody took charge in the end, and they scored from nothing. Well,
for the whole defence to get caught out by a long ball, that's poor. We're all running back towards our goal. There's not one defender facing up to it, which is a bad thing. Kitchen doesn't know where the ball is. He doesn't. No. If you look back on it, he doesn't know where the ball is at all, and it kind of bounces. And when he sees it, that's when he has to get rid of it straight away. First time, kick it anywhere, even if it goes from
Rosed,
anywhere. Now Collins is coming, because I think Collins thinks the ball's going to go further than he's expecting it, and it doesn't. It sort of hits the ground and doesn't go anywhere, does it? It kind of doesn't really move as fast as he thinks it's going to move. So he's then comes too far, which is another problem. Kitchen looks like he's going to head it back to him, and he goes to head it, realises Collins has now come right out of the area and pulls his head away. So if Collins stays 5 yards in his area, Kitchen heads the ball back. Although he didn't have he could have had two chances to clear it anyway. And then Collins comes out, drops at his feet, completely loses the ball instead of just kicking through it or doing something. And we get caught out. And it's just an absolute shambles, isn't it, really?
And people were shocked when they were coming back. They couldn't believe it, And it's just what the start you don't want, in the second half. You just don't want that to happen. And it was a nightmare. It happened.
It isn't, but you kind of weren't surprised, were you, that there was a calamity?
No.
You just weren't surprised.
A lot of people were waiting for it to happen, weren't they? But
and I just thought, and of course, once that happened, that was it. That was game over then, because they've done it all season. Once they get in front, it's hard to get a goal back against that lot. And the whole second half, they played it perfectly in terms of destroying the game, basically. Every challenge, they went down, hold my knee. Referee comes over, wastes 30 seconds, the bloke gets up and sprints off. Every throw-in, option of the nearest ball, they go for the furthest ball. There's a one with the corner, wasn't there, where he goes to take the corner. He points the ball. I think it was a ball girl, ball boy, whatever. And he says he wants the ball. She throws the ball towards the corner flag, and he takes the ball that he's got with him to the corner flag. Just things like that. The referee goes over to have a word. What's he say to him? Oh, that's quite clever, though, what you just did there. Don't worry, I won't add it on. I won't add it on. Then we had fake injuries. We had the water breaks. All these
water break cracked me up. There was no,
That was a good one,
wasn't
that
an
was.
official
Yeah.
break.
I thought, why are they having a water break? They're just random water breaks, and they were handing bits of paper around.
Yeah.
I just thought
The
the referee completely lost it in that second half, completely. And they just played to it, and what happens is, it's like if you've got a naughty child, isn't it? If they take and take and take, and they keep taking until eventually you have to say to them, no, stop it now. Taking the mickey here. And that's what happened. But the referee did absolutely nothing. He books Milan for protesting that he's been fouled. He's got the foul. He's gone, he's fouled me, and books him, where he should have booked the bloke who fouled him. Hannibal's come on to do what he does. He did it in Leicester, didn't he? He just comes on to upset everybody. And somehow he ends up getting a booking and probably should have got a red in that 15 minutes for the amount
Could
of
easily got a red. Could he sarcastically clapping the referee when he made a decision, wasn't he? He'd already been booked.
And then he claps the fans, which you're not allowed to do.
Yeah.
I just think, if it had been us away from home, we'd probably be laughing about it and all that. But I'm not sure. Me as a fan, I wouldn't want to see that every week.
No, I mean they didn't. Apart from that, they didn't really create anything in the second half because they didn't. As I say, they didn't need to, really, did they? But they didn't.
And I know from obviously following Italy when we won the World Cup in '82, nobody talks about the great game against Brazil or against Argentina or even the final against West Germany. They just talk about how negative they were in the first half of that World Cup, how boring they were to watch, and how they killed the game, and how Maradona got kicked all over the pitch. Although if you're an England fan, you probably like that now. But they destroyed the game basically to get as far as they could. And the fact they played well towards the last couple of games in the semi-final against Poland, that doesn't matter anymore. You still get labelled as being a dirty team. And that's what you don't want, surely, as a club. And for me, Burnley, I don't want to see that. But the referee needs to deal with it. And
referee was the worst referee I've seen for a long, long time. That was.
And I don't think, because of what we've got on the bench, what could come on, we weren't going to change anything. I can't see how we could have changed anything in that game. Is it Steve at the back? Their guy at the back.
He was.
Oh my word!
He was not studied. Yeah,
unbelievable the amount of challenges he got in when he needed to. And I agree with Bobby Thomas though, because I felt in the second half he was the one who was driving forward at times, trying to get things going. We're definitely lacking sometimes in know-how to beat a team like Burnley. And it's happened a lot in the last couple of years, but that's the level we're at. I think we need to get played.
Even with Milan's long throws, they were still dealing with it, weren't they? They were winning every header.
Well, he made the point, Parker, didn't he? That he knew. He says this guy can throw it a third of the length of the pitch, so they knew what was coming. They've done their homework. They've not been letting in goals. They must face other teams who do that in the Championship. They know what it's all about, and I suppose fair play to them. It's. I did say boring Burnley at the start of the season will probably get promoted, and it's looking that way. And now they're up there. I can't. They've lost 2 games all season, Ken. You can see why, can't you?
Yeah, well, that's right. You can see why, can't you? But I can't help saying that they were helped a little bit by the referee as well, I think.
But what worries me, it's another game where we could have got something out of it. We make changes and nothing really changes. We haven't got that. The squad's not there yet, is it? I don't think.
No. Frustrating then, Vicky, weren't it? Second half.
Oh yeah.
You had a good view. You had a good view of the calamity moment, didn't you? Because
I did right in front of me. Yeah, right in front. I mean, the biggest issue there is any lack of communication. Because when the ball comes over, I can see Collins running out. I'm thinking, I had no panic in that initial moment. I'm thinking Collins is going to get there, he's going to boot it out, and then all of a sudden, sort of Kitchen's there, and you're thinking, what's going on? And neither of them spoke to each other. For me, Collins should have been just saying, "Get out of the way, I've got this," because I still think he could have cleared that if it just
in that situation. The keeper's got to take command of that situation, hasn't he?
And neither of them spoke to each other. Neither of them took command, and in the end, they've just both got in each other's way and did nothing, didn't they? And it was
he should have come out and said, "Right, leave it. That's mine. Get out of the way, basically."
Yeah,
and just hoof it.
Yeah, but I mean, they're that right in front of me, and you can hear if they're shouting. There was nothing. Like, they just didn't speak to each other at all, and that's the issue, I think.
And the atmosphere went flat just straight after that. The crowd went, didn't they?
Well, the trouble is, we spoke, didn't we, about Burnley getting the lead and how difficult that is. Effectively, then they've got so the first half's equal. You come out now, Burnley are winning 1-0 effectively, aren't they? And that's what we said that we couldn't let happen because it panned out exactly as we predicted. They know how to kill the game off. I mean, we've always struggled against teams like that, like the sort of teams that don't really want to play football. Like we're not very good against teams that don't want to play football, and it's been an ongoing problem. The problem is that it's hard enough when it's someone like Cardiff or Preston or someone, but Burnley have got better players, so they're better at it, and also they've got the players that then can nick that goal because they've got sparks of talent across the squad. So they're the worst version of that type of team and that's why they're doing it so well, because they've got the sort of top players. And so, I mean, that's why they've conceded so few goals. It's why they've won so many and lost so few, and all those sorts of things. They're the worst version of that team. And I mean, I wouldn't want to be watching that week in, week out because it must be absolutely like dire. But it's getting them results, isn't it? I mean, I'd rather we find a way to get promoted our way because at least most weeks it's entertaining. But we do tend to score a lot of goals, don't we? We concede a lot, but we do tend to score. That's it. I mean, I'd rather us get promoted winning every game 3-2 than winning every game 1-0. But it is what it is, isn't it? But yeah, once they'd got that lead, they just saw the game out, and they were helped by the ref because
I was
people
about to say, what was your view on the referee?
Well, the trouble is, people say it's not necessarily the ref, but it is because it kills any momentum. Every time they lose a ball, they go down and pretend they're injured, and it just kills momentum. And so he does influence the game. And Burnley have got a 100% record when he's been refereeing them, so he's clearly never had any control in any game that he's he's refereed for them. So I just thought, I mean, we've had some bad referees this season, but he was up there with the worst.
He's from Sheffield, isn't he? He's Sheffield Wednesday fan, I believe. And I was saying,
he was the one at Carrow Road as well. He was the one we had at Carrow Road. Do you remember that one?
When he
wasn't great down there either, was he?
No, I didn't realise it's the same guy. Oh God, I'll say no more. Wayne, well, I mean, I know your views on what was your views on the calamity? Because
first of all, referee. Everyone said, the referee was probably the worst we've had all season. He was absolutely shocking. But you have to remember, the referee is not at fault for our calamities at the back. You know, the referee was not at fault for how we defended our first goal and the garbage that we witnessed for the second goal. You know, so as rubbish as he was, and you know, he's not at fault for the way we defended. Now, my view for the second goal is, I think Collins is getting a little bit too much stick, and Kitchen's getting off far too lightly. Because for me, the first error is Kitchen's in no man's land and he lets the ball bounce. Doesn't let the ball bounce, there's no issue. Once that ball bounces, he's in trouble. Defenders are on him, and then obviously Collins to come out that far is not warranted at all. Now, if Collins doesn't come out, that opportunity where Kitchen goes to head it and pulls out, you know, if Collins stays on his line, he'll go through with that header. I'm pretty sure of it, because there's enough room between him heading the ball and going back to the goal. And obviously, he sees Collins there and thinks, well, I can't head it. I still think
they got in each other's way in the end, didn't they?
Yeah, but I think Kitchen still had time to lump the hell out of it and get it out, because generally keepers are not renowned for having great ball control and trying to trap the ball and skin a player. So, you know, but Collins shouldn't have been out there. He shouldn't have been anywhere near that ball. But you know, he is at fault. But I think Kitchen is at fault as well. I think it was really poor defending from Kitchen.
Yeah.
It just set the tone for the second half. Then, you know, we had a lot of the ball, but Burnley allowed us the ball because they were quite happy sitting back, and they defended with ease, with absolute ease. And I think Collins actually had more saves in the second half than their keeper. Yeah. I think he pulled off 2 decent saves. I can't remember, their keeper pulling off a save in the second half. I remember Alan having a shot which went into row Z.
We had plenty of the ball. We had plenty of possession, didn't we? But we didn't do a lot with it.
We didn't do anything. We didn't do anything with it, And was it because the ref was very stop-start? Maybe so, but that's the same for both teams. It's just at the end of the day, we've come up against a team who are better than us. They play better than us and they defend better than us, and they know the dark arts, and that's something that I wish we would learn to do. I know a lot of people don't want to see it week in, week out. I'd love us to do it. I'd love us to time waste and feign an injury here and there, but we're so nice. We like to be like gentlemen on the pitch.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be. We need to get stuck in.
Unfortunately, you don't win any points for being like that, do you?
And you know what? The frustrating thing is as well is we probably saw the best performance of the season against Sunderland, where all 11 players were absolutely superb, and we attacked, we pressed, we defended well. We were absolutely superb. We haven't seen that since then. The games after Sunderland, we've been pretty mediocre, and there is no consistency with our team whatsoever. We have moments in time. And that's all we are. And it just shows where we are in the pecking order. And some fans won't like that and they'll get upset with it. But it is where we are. We're just not good enough.
I think you're right. Wayne, sorry, Ken. I think you're right. What it is, it's in those moments where you have a bit of a blip that you don't concede and we get away with it. Because it's been like the Blackburn game. We won 3-0 away from home, but they had a lot of possession, a lot of chances. And they missed a load. That first 20 minutes, they missed so many chances when we're up against it. And somehow we got a 3-0 win, was it, in the end? Or 3-1, whatever it was. And I think in some games you can get away with it. You're not going to get away with it all the time. And you won't get away with it against decent sides. And Leeds, the 3 games at home, I know we drew with Sheffield United, but they had a man sent off in the first half. The games we've lost, especially against the top 3 sides, they just pick up on your mistakes. They just find a way of getting the goals. I mean, Burnley weren't outstanding when we played them at their place, in all honesty.
Oh, that's right.
Another night, Mason Clark's goal doesn't get disallowed, does it? If the linesman was looking the other way like he was doing yesterday. So we're not a million miles away. We're just probably 3 or 4 players away from being as good as those teams. That's what I'd look at it.
It must have been so. Go on, Vic. Sorry.
So I was going to say, I think the thing is, Claudio, that obviously we are away from the likes of Leeds and Sheffield United and Burnley because we haven't got the money that they've had in recent seasons and the time in the Premier League. I mean, we're coming from a different trajectory, aren't we? We're a club that's had to rebuild from nowhere, and these are teams that have had recent Premier League football and the money and the resources that comes in. But I think once you got past those teams, that the other teams competing for the playoffs are in a very similar position to us. They'll have games where they make mistakes and their fans will be moaning about their players and saying probably similar things to we're all saying. So I think once you got past those top 3, that to say, I don't know, we're not ready or we're not good enough, it's probably not the right statement, because it's that we are fighting amongst other teams that are similar in a competitive league when anybody could beat anybody on their day, and it's going to come down to who makes the most right decisions between now and the end of the season, between about 8 squads, isn't it? I mean, Leeds and Sheffield United and Burnley, 2 of those will go up. One, unfortunately, is going to end up in the playoff, and someone's going to have to face that. But the rest of us are all pretty much of a likeness, aren't we, really, I think?
Which is the issue, isn't it? That third team. Because those 3 teams are so strong at the minute. Yeah. You need 2 strong teams and a fairly decent team. Yeah. I think. Like when we went up when we played the playoff with Luton. Yeah. In that playoff scenario that year, it was like I don't know. It was slightly more even. It's getting harder, isn't it? Every season, this championship. Yeah. It's getting harder.
I think this is probably the first season for a while where all 3 have done so well, isn't it? I think because obviously teams like Norwich and West Brom, when they came down, they've not managed to go straight back up again. So, and Watford, there's been a few seasons where the third team haven't made it, and so that they sort of dropped away and they're still here. But this season, those top 3 are just running away with it, aren't they? Unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, usually there's one team that runs away with it, and the rest are here. But I think I can't remember the last time you're going into the last few games and you've got 3 teams who can all win the league still. You know, usually there is one that's completely run away with it, and everyone else is vying for second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. But yeah, it's you know, the gulf between the Premier League and the Championship is getting wider and wider every year.
It must have been so frustrating yesterday as well from Lampard. He's did his half-time team talk, and then within a couple of minutes, it's all gone out the window.
About 50 seconds, wasn't it?
Yeah. You know, must have said, "Look, keep it nice and tight, and we, you know, create a few more. We could get something out of this game." And it's all gone out the window within the first minute. It's, you know, that's why it must have been frustrating for him as well. And we'll come to that in a minute about the referee and his red card and stuff like that. Have you got a few more comments, though, Claudio?
Yes, yeah. Phil Taylor says, as bad as the ref was, we can't blame him for the goals. We gifted them 2 of the easiest schoolboy football goals you'll see. I always feel sorry for schoolboys. You always get, what is a schoolboy error? What are they always saying? Schoolboy error. I feel sorry for him. Wayne, you're right.
You read that once. You can't tell him his vote twice.
Yeah, you put that
Seriously,
again.
Vicky, do you have to ruin it?
Wayne, you're right, apparently. Right. I've not read that one out. Matthew says, might get away with that style of foot in the champ, Wayne, but they don't stand a chance in the Prem without a couple of players with their star quality match winners. I wouldn't want to watch that every week.
No, you're right, yeah.
It's funny, though, isn't it? Because they went up with the Company, and I think everybody thought, because with Company, they played a bit of a brand of sexy football, didn't they, at one stage, Burnley?
He refused to change it, didn't he? He was like, if we're going to go down, we're going to go down playing for... And now they've got completely the opposite.
Yeah, and what's weird is they get relegated and he gets the Bayern Munich job. Incredible. Kevin Quinn, you can't say that about Bobby when God has spoken. I presume he means you, Wayne.
Sadly, Kevin Quinn's one of those who doesn't like anything constructive.
All right. Paul Stratton, worryingly, despite the possession we had in the second half, we never once looked like scoring. We really are not aggressive enough when the chips are down. We need to go and get the Stoke goalkeeper as soon as possible. Well, that's, yeah, he was mentioned at the start of the season, wasn't it, that we needed him? And he went for 2 million, was it? I don't know what his wages are like. But, yeah, their keeper made 1 save all game yesterday. Apparently, looking at the stats. Worst ref I've ever seen, says West Sky Blue. Wayne Ghost, as frustrating as it was, we can take heart in the fact we had a decent performance in the outfield. Bring on Portsmouth. West Sky Blue, first goalkeeper Collins error, second Collins and Kitchen. It's as a team, though. We do let in daft goals as a team. I mean, obviously, when your last point of call is the goalkeeper, and if he makes a mistake, the chance it's going to be a goal, isn't it? But there are ways of, preventing it before it gets anywhere near the 18-yard box. I mean, it sounds daft to say. I mean, it does feel like the majority of our goals have come from mistakes, apart from Hamer's goal and maybe the 2 at Sunderland, which were really good shots away. I can't remember too many games where we've let in worldies or a really good move or something. They seem to be littered with mistakes, which is so frustrating.
Yeah, with the gift that keeps giving, we are sometimes, aren't we, at the back?
I mean, it's the sort of mistakes that cost the manager their job, isn't it?
I've done in the past.
Yeah, exactly. Mark Lights. I mean, the chairman's never going to sack himself, is he? Mark Lights said all season we need quality defenders at the back. We're always gifting the top teams by our errors. Lampard knows he has a big issue. We'll resolve this in the summer transfer market. Gavin Collins says, Thomas and Kitchen are a good partnership. It's a clown behind them. Now Dovin is out. Bink's not good enough at this level. Slows the game down too much. I think one good thing I thought yesterday was there was a lot of good diagonal crossfield passes by both the centre halves, actually. Dawn Court, let's get the drama queens out in force. Talking of drama queens, Dawn, I could do a bit of a routine if you want. No one whinging when we're on a good run and winning. We've lost a couple to the top 2 and it's the end of the world and the players are now the worst. Let's get rid. Look, where would you be without drama queens, Dawn? You know, that's you know, it wouldn't be as entertaining, would it? Gavin Collins, Kevin Quinn, Wayne, you're in trouble with Gavin. And I know Gavin's very mild mannered as well. Kevin Quinn, does he ever have anything positive?
Well, listen. To be fair, this is coming from Gavin, who in his last comment thought the defence played well yesterday. So come on.
Yes. So, love the background, Vicky, from Jack, our man Stato. He loves your background. Yeah. I see Sim still hasn't moved yet. Cameron De Rossi, why did Frank Lampard get a red? I would imagine it's because he told the referee exactly what we all thought of him.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be lovely to know, find out what he actually said, but we're never going to find out that. But.
And I'm sure because he gets the red, does that give Frank the opportunity to have a say why he said so? It's going to come to light, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he can appeal it, I presume. He can appeal it if he wants to, but it depends what he said, doesn't it, I suppose?
Yeah, but he'll go to they'll have a word with him, and then Lampard will have his say, won't he?
Yeah.
So he can say, well, it's this, and this, and this is why I think he's absolutely rubbish.
What it did mean that he couldn't, it means he couldn't face the press afterwards. So that's why he had to send the assistant manager in, didn't he, to speak to the press.
And if you shut your eyes, Edwards sounds like Lampard. It's really weird.
He does a little bit, doesn't he?
I thought that's just Lampard, isn't it? With a
Lampard disguise.
He's got a mask on. It just sounds like him. You can tell they spend a lot of time together. It's quite funny, I thought. Costa 51. Even all, 2 soft goals cost us big. What I will say is we did okay apart from that. And how dull our Parker's teams, particularly Burnley. This is why I got bombed out of Bournemouth in the end. Firstly, he started moaning that they wouldn't give him any money for transfers, if you remember, and they sacked him, didn't they, for speaking out in public. And then, obviously, the football wasn't great. Paul Stratton, we can't blame the ref. We can blame Burnley's tactics. At the end of the day, despite huffing and puffing, we're not good enough. Dark farts. Good evening. We won't get promoted this season. It'll be a miracle if we do. I wouldn't want to be I won't want to be in the Prem and get beat every week. It's more fun in the Championship. Cameron De Rossi says we need to win the remaining games. Cameron De Rossi, whereabouts in Italy are you? Because I believe you said you're in Italy.
Sounds like a very Italian name, Claudio.
The De Rossi bit is, I mean, Rossi's like Smith in English. Yeah. Riley Flamson, I've not seen that name before. We need Dovin and Wilson. Collins was rubbish. Matthew Stone, why are we slating the defenders when the goals and mistakes by a midfielder conceding possession in a poor area and the goalkeeping error? We played well aside from that. Story of the season. Oh, I think they're all culpable. Dawn Cook. Oh. I'll get Dawn up here. Wayne, please don't have a go at Bobby Thomas just because you haven't got Eccles to have a pop at. He'll be back in 3 weeks. He'll be back in 3 weeks. Ian Small, I thought he did well. Burnley hardly hurt us. Dover in goal. We win it. Lee Beckett, let's not forget Burnley's squad is worth 2 times the value of ours. And
their playing budget, their wages are bigger than ours as well, aren't they? So
yeah, there needs to be some sort of. They need to do the structures are all wrong. I don't believe that the teams coming down should have all those wages just because you took a risk when you went up. You know, it's bizarre that it falls. You get relegated and you get a price for being relegated. Paul Stratton, Claudia, what I meant about it not being in our own hands. If Borough or Bristol take more points than us, we finish 7th. There's only possibly Bristol, but I mean,
I think Bristol got to play Leeds. They've got to play Leeds, haven't they, during the week? I think.
Middlesbrough. Bristol have got West Brom on Tuesday. Leeds are playing Middlesbrough. So it could all change again, really.
Yeah.
Bizarrely, the next 2 games, we've got the easier fixtures out of all of them.
Don't say that.
Yeah, it doesn't always work that way, as you know.
I might change my lippy for that one. Cameron De Rossi, EMC was poor, should give Bassett a chance. I just think, I don't know you guys think, the 2 wide players now, we're getting found out. They're on them quite quick. They don't give them any room. They're the danger men. They're the source of the danger. They're the ones who've been slinging the balls in, getting the balls around the back.
And people have done the homework on him, haven't they?
Exactly.
EMC was limping a bit in the second half as well, so I don't know whether he's still like he had that foot injury, didn't he? Whether that's still like plaguing him a little bit. I don't know.
He kind of went off on his ankle, didn't he? I saw him. He was like, that's a worry. Trevor Merriman, Burnley player, went down holding his head. I was nearer in block 19 than our City player, and the ref gave a free kick. There was that horrible incident where the guy went down the box and he was holding his knees or ankles, and he got up and did that little shuffle run, didn't he, into the area. Yeah. I thought he'd just taken the mix straight away. I can't see why the ref just can't yellow card him, because you think you're playing acting. You've just
he's trying to con the referee there, wasn't he? That's what he's doing. It didn't work. I mean, he should have got booked for that.
Mark French, Grimes, some player. I think we have another dud, can't tackle, just stays back playing silly balls, about no speed about him, same as talk, midfield poor.
He was very deep yesterday. Did you see how deep he was? At times, he was actually in the centre-back role.
Yeah.
Yeah. But is that to do with Burnley pushing him back? I don't know. He's not against the lesser teams. He's not been like that. He's been further forward. We'll see. We'll see Wednesday night. Yeah. Finn says, knowing our club, we will sign Meslier.
Brilliant.
Wow. Do we need a new goalkeeping coach? Well, it's the guy we brought in Simon Moore and got rid of Marco Morosi, wasn't it? So, yeah.
Yeah.
Rob Murray, 1 point from a possible 18 against the top three, to say it all. But I think there'll be quite a few teams in that have done exactly the same, to be honest. Trevor Merriman, Wilson won the Golden Glove only because we had a good defence. Graham Cockrell, Oxford beat Leeds. That says anyone can beat anyone in this year league. That was it Leeds they beat?
Sheffield United they beat.
Sheffield United, wasn't it? Yeah, they beat Sheffield United. Mini Phoenix Gaming. Claudio, why would we have a new owner if we went up? Because he's a hedge fund, isn't he? That's what they do. They turn things around. It's a problem.
I agree with you. I think somebody will come in and buy the club if we go up. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't be surprised. Ignore him, Wayne. Put a wig on, some lipstick, then they'll be asking what school you went to.
Brilliant. I'll wear a wig next time now.
Realms of possibility. Ken, thank you so much for dropping the mug off. My brother is chuffed.
No problem. Brilliant. It was third time lucky. I did get hold of him eventually. Hope he enjoys it.
Gibbo, Grimes is playing far too deep. He's more like a third centre-back. He needs to play higher. Is it because our centre-backs can't be trusted to play passes from the back? Possibly lots of gates. Loads of guesses. Were you lot surprised that it was under 30,000 on Saturday? I thought Burnley, considering the top of the league or thereabouts, you think they'd sell out, wouldn't you?
They didn't sell all their tickets, did they? There was a few moan and groans about £37, wasn't there? About 37 quid.
They've never been big travellers, though, have they? I mean, their home gates are never something to shout about.
It would be a convoy of caravans, wouldn't it? And horses and carts and things like that.
But yeah, there's a few empty seats in that away end, weren't there, to be honest? But
if we were to get into the playoffs, whether it be final, who out of the top three, who would you rather play at Wembley?
I see.
For me, it would be Burnley. I think as well. I think I'd rather play out of the three.
Yeah, because bizarrely, Wayne,
I think we're more in the game against them than the other two.
Yeah, bizarrely, you may just win it with one goal because, like I say, they don't really create a lot, and they wouldn't have beat us yesterday if we had not gifted them 2 goals. So you might be right with that actually, and I think Leeds and Sheffield United have got so much more, especially up front.
I just got a funny feeling Burnley, now they're top, they'll go up now. I think they'll stay there.
Also, I couldn't cope with Hamas scoring the winning goal to get them promoted and this to keep us down. You don't need that sort of stuff going on, do you?
Yeah, but you could imagine their faces though if we'd beaten them in the semi-final. O'Hare and Hamas' face. We went up, and they have to stay where they are.
That would be funny.
That would be funny, wouldn't it? Yeah. Don't forget to get your guesses in, by the way, for Guess the Gate for the Pompey game on Wednesday night. Might be a sellout. I'm not quite sure if it's going to be, but
I reckon 25,000, 26 maybe.
I reckon. Be
It's on
interesting
telly as
'cause-
well, isn't it?
yeah, but it is half term. I think the kids are off as well, aren't they? So you might get a few extra people up there.
And it's next week, isn't it? Or unless you get to
Oh,
private
next
school.
week. I don't know. I
Yeah,
think
it's
I think
half
this
term.
week.
Yeah, half term the following week.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
half
we- oh, right.
private schools because my wife she's breaking up on tomorrow,
Oh, okay.
and
Well,
she's
then,
going to,
yeah.
and they're going to Spain for a week with a school to Salamanca. I'm on my own, son. So me and Ken on Monday night we're on a hot date to Hull, aren't we, Ken?
Yeah, you can't book the city of
Lipstick
Hull.
you go through, Claudio, on your own.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're not stopping overnight. We're coming back.
I shall be. I'll be taking plenty of precautions. I just
we're coming back. We're not stopping over.
as in charges and things like that, because you don't want your phone dying on you, do you? It's a long way back from Hull. Oh dear.
It is a long way back. But,
It
yeah,
is.
get your guesses in for Guessergate. Vicky will write them down, and we'll put them all in a drawer, and we'll do it on Thursday's show.
This is a good point, Kevin, because this is from Kevin Quinn. Something like 48 minutes ball actually in play. I did think that second half. I was thinking, I'd love to know how long the ball's been in play. 48 minutes out of 95 minutes. That's half the game. The ball's off the pitch or dead.
It's
That's
interesting.
right. We're getting shortchanged then, aren't we? There.
It is, isn't it? Ref was woeful, says Lee Beckett. Needs to be moved back to Sunday League. Never seen a game with so many unpunished takeouts and body checks. Referee needs striking off.
Well, I've seen better referees Sunday League, Claudio. There is.
Yeah. Matthew Stone, goalkeeper has to take charge of the second. He's got the whole picture in front of him. He should be screaming his name for the ball and leathering it. Defenders were in their right to assume he would. I think Shakespeare would have loved it being the comedy of errors. Paul Johnson. That was the first Shakespeare play I ever saw. I was 11 years old. Yeah. And I found the program because I never throw anything away. I found the program about 3 or 4 years ago, and one of the leads was Judi Dench.
Oh, wow.
Unbelievable. Yeah, I wouldn't even known she was going to be famous. We're talking 1977 here. It's a long time ago. Paul Stratton, with respect, Ken, they created more chances than us in the second half. Okay. Doug Bolam, the way Collins came out and was dancing around the ball instead of staying in his area, I thought his waters just broke. I was listening to Rob Gurney on the way home, and he says he's having to read all the messages ahead because the amount of swearing I think that was in there, basically. That's a tough gig when you're doing BBC. It doesn't matter on here. And, we don't swear because you don't want to. But there's plenty of other podcasts that do, don't they? Because you can. Yeah. This podcast. Dark farts. Teams always need drink breaks against us because they can't handle the constant bombardment from us, so they resort to faking injuries. Put Wilson in goal. He will fake injuries to let us regroup. I mean, that's the only thing that they didn't do was Trafford go down for a 5-minute thing, did they? Food Tech says it's all about the 11 picked each week turning up. They did against Sunderland. We were first to everything, all 11. Nearly every other game, you can spot 1 to 4 players that don't turn up consistently. I think that's what you were saying, Wayne.
Yeah.
I watched the extended highlights at Leeds against Luton. I know they drew 1-1, but Leeds should have won that game. Yeah, they are on the front foot virtually the whole game. It's a case of whether or not they take the chances. But then they got a keeper who just lets in howlers all season, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, they reckon he's contributed to about 11 points, basically, against them this season.
Oh, we thought we had a bad keeper. So.
Yeah. He eventually dropped him for somebody else, didn't they? Is it Darlow, the guy who was at Newcastle, I think?
Yeah, he was in this weekend, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Nick J, enough chances to win the game. Haji should have nailed De Silva's cross. He had another clear shot to take and decides to cut back. EMC was dreadful. 1,000 step overs to nowhere. Want to see Patterson. Interesting, Nick J, because in the second half, he did all those step overs in front of Singer's corner. And I just shouted, which I mean, you shouldn't do that in the box area, should you really? I just shouted, for God's sake. Pass the ball. Stop the step overs. It's like watching Lee Jenkinson. It's just ridiculous.
Is that when he then fell over?
Remember him?
Yeah.
I forgot about him, Lee Jenkinson.
Step over, King. Stop it now. You don't need to do. And if I was a defender, I'd be watching that going, what are you doing? Because you're not fooling me. It's not like Tats does a little shimmy. He doesn't fool anybody, does he? Natasha Lees. It won't be the same without Lyndon on Wednesday, but everyone makes mistakes. Okay, we'll leave that there. We're not going to comment on that at all on this channel. No. Paul Stratton, if Wilson is not fit, play Bell. At least if he makes mistakes, we will all understand. With Collins as our only option, we are in big, big trouble. This is the guy who saw his team, Barnsley, get to the playoff final when he was in League One. It does make you wonder what's going on in the background sometimes. Futek, ref was abysmal Saturday. Burnley players refed and managed the game as soon as they went in front. Collins is not the answer. Pray Wilson gets an odd. Big clear out needed to really go where we want. You know, the sad thing is, for everybody who was on Thursday, we all had reservations about Collins on Thursday night.
Yeah.
And we gave him the benefit of the doubt because of what he did against Sheffield United when he came on. But we did have reservations. And it's almost like when the goal goes in, we all sort of go, oh, well, we knew it was going to happen. Which is quite sad, really, that you're predicting it's going to happen, and it does happen.
It's one of those times where you'd love to be proven wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, sorry, I was just about the goalkeepers there, Claudio. Do we think then, why isn't he playing Ben Wilson? I think, personally, Ben Wilson is not quite fit to play. That is why he's not playing. Now, we've heard all sorts of different views and rumours, but nothing official. What's your view on that? I'm surprised because he's got a new contract. Lampard seems to like him, but he's chose Collins ahead of him, which is very bizarre, isn't it?
Well, he must. Oh, they keep saying they see these players in training. Maybe there is an issue with Ben. He's not quite 100%, but I've been told he is.
I don't think so.
I think we'll find out on Wednesday.
Yeah. I mean, or they're going to come out and say, well, to be honest, he's not quite
the first name that every single Cov fan's going to look at when the team sheet's announced on Wednesday. It's the first one we're going to look at. Is who is in goal.
Without a doubt.
Well, we knew about it on the Friday, and straight away we were like going, oh, no. You know, it was already out there. That looked like it was starting. And the thing is... Sorry, Vicky. The first thing he did when the balls rolled back to him was kick it out and went out for a throw-in, if you remember. Straight from the kickoff, pretty much.
I was just going to say, the thing is, if there's other options, I don't think Lampard's really doing him any favours because his confidence just looked shot. He looked nervous when he came on against Sheffield United. And the trouble is, as a goalkeeper, it's actually the worst position if you've lost form and confidence, isn't it? Because the spotlight's on you all the time, and one little mistake and there's a goal, and so he looks absolutely shot of confidence. And so if there are other options, so if Wilson is fit, or we could have played Bale, or whatever other options are available, I think it'd have done Collins a favour not to throw him in at the deep end.
The thing is, at Sheffield United, they were both warming up, if you remember, and I automatically thought Ben Wilson's going to come on.
Yeah.
So I was quite shocked when I seen Collins coming on. I thought, what's happened there then? You know, and then I've heard rumours, Wilson's not quite fit, or there's a little issue with him, and he didn't want to risk it. But I don't know what.
We've all seen it with goalkeepers better than. I mean, like people like Pickford had that spell, didn't he, when he completely lost all confidence? And so there's better goalkeepers that have had those spells where you're just thinking, what are you doing? And because unfortunately, confidence and form is so crucial to a goalkeeper, because once you start making mistakes, goals go in, and then it actually compounds it because you make a mistake and then people get on your back more, and it's so difficult. So I think Collins is just in that sort of downward spiral at the moment. He could really just.
And if you remember, it happened with Lee Burge, didn't it? Lee Burge, the same. He went through a bit of a stage where he made a load of mistakes, and people were getting on to him, and he eventually lost his place in the team, didn't he? And that affected him as well in the end. So,
let's face it, Oggy nearly cost us the cup final in '87. He had a mare.
He did have a mare, yeah.
He didn't he? Yeah.
He even admits it. That he had a mare that day, and then he pulls off a brilliant save in the last minute from Clive Allen, doesn't he? With his So it happened. But
that's it. If a goalkeeper makes a mistake, it normally ends up in the back of the net, doesn't it?
Yeah,
players can get away with. make mistakes, but goalkeepers can't.
But he made 600 appearances, didn't he? And for a reason, because he didn't make many mistakes. That's the difference.
Yeah, it's all about being consistent, isn't it? Yeah,
it's an interesting one from Gibbo, and I see this a lot on social media. The argument of we're not ready to go up makes me angry. Any chance of getting to the Premier League should be taken, as it gives us millions to put us on a sound financial base, even if we go straight back down.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, I mean that I agree. If I'm going to ask a question to you, then Claudia, would you go up, or would you rather stay where you are, or would you and come back down, or would you take the money and take the gamble? What would you do?
I want to go up. What's the point of being in this? Surely you have to go up. That's the aim, isn't it? That's what the chairman wants. Our owner's desperate to get promoted. He is desperate.
Even if you don't think we're quite ready.
But what's that mean? I don't know what that means.
That means people are saying the players are not quite ready. We need another season and all this. I don't believe that. I think you've got to take the chance when you get it and go up.
Right. If we'd have won the playoff final against Luton, we would have been ready. We've won the playoff final. We got through the semi-final. Yeah. We've played the whole season.
Yeah.
Excuse me. You've won the semi-final. Voice has gone.
Is that good or that's good?
Lip's been rubbing off and he's decided to swallow it.
Have a drink of water. Go on.
I'm actually dying on the set.
Shall we move on? I'll move on to Vicky then.
Just saying. Just hold on. I'm there. So after 46 games, you're in the semi-final. You're not there. You got through that. And then you've won the playoff final.
Yeah.
You're ready. You've done what you had to do. That's all you can do. You can't buy a Premier League squad in the Championship with the financial constraints. You can't do it. But you can do it if you go up and get the money and come back down again.
Yes, and that's what teams like West Brom, Norwich, Burnley, Sheffield United, they're yo-yo teams. They've got that. That's why they can play the better wages. That's why they bought Gus Hamer, because they could afford him and we couldn't, because they've got the money in the bank where we haven't. We haven't got the parachute payments.
But they still got relegated and they look like they're going to go back up again. I reckon that was Miles with a little his voodoo doll was hitting him.
But you're right, Claudio, because that is the point, isn't it? You can't be Premier League ready as a Championship team. All you can do is be competitive in this league and do your best to get promotion and seize the opportunity when it arises. And then the advantage you've got once you've got up, so there's two advantages to going up. First of all, you got the money, so that's great. But also, then you become like a Premier League team, and the ability to then attract players. So even if you come back down, if you then become recognised as a team that is pushing for the promotion, so people go to Leeds and Sheffield United even when they're in the Championship because they know they're trying to get back into the Premier League, and so they want to be part of that journey. So the players need to believe that you can achieve that, and once you've got there and you've got the money and you become a yo-yo team, you can get the better players from that perspective as well, just because people believe that you're a club that is pushing for Premier League football. At the moment, unfortunately, we're one of a host of teams that have been in the Championship for a while who want to get there, but haven't been able to do it. So that there's a difference there as well in level. So it's about being competitive in this league, and then and seizing the opportunity. You can never be any more ready than that, really, can you?
And you might do a Brighton, and you might do a Knox Forest and stay there.
Yeah.
You do a bit of luck sometimes, don't you, as well?
That's it. I mean, but most teams have shown, haven't they, that you can't be Premier League ready because that's why they keep on coming back down again. And so it's just a building blocks, isn't it? And hope for a bit of luck. I mean, it looks like all three will probably come back down again. I think. I mean, there's 12 points to gap now, isn't there? Because Ipswich threw away those points against Wolves yesterday. So I think that all three will come down again. And so it's the same each season, isn't it? But they'll all be now in a better position than they were 12 months ago.
Would you agree with that, Wayne? Would you say you've got to take your chance when you?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, if we're not striving to get in the Premier League, then what are we bloody doing? It's you want to go up. You're never ready until you give it a go. And once you give it a go, if we go up, we get the money, we get the experience, we get, the recognition and players to know who we are. And if we come back down, hopefully, if we do go back up again, like your Nottingham Forest, who have done it and now shown that they can do it. My only worry is someone like Luton, who gone up, played really good football actually in the Premier League, were really unlucky at times, come back down and now a complete shadow of what they were and could be looking at back-to-back relegations. That's my only concern for us. But I would take it all day long. I don't get why fans say, I don't want to go up. The Championship is entertaining. Don't get me wrong, it's great being in the playoff contention every season. And the worry of going up is the first thing you want to do is beat Derby County's points tally, because no one wants that record. So it'd be great to go up. It'd be great for the experience. I just don't want to be that club that comes down and then goes down again. Yeah,
and that's the risk, isn't it? And hopefully, hopefully that wouldn't happen. But there is also, over the last few years, it's all been very similar teams going up and coming back down again. We all thought Ipswich were playing so well last year, didn't they? They went up, they were playing brilliant in the Championship. And to be fair, they've played a few decent games in the Premier League. They've done okay, and I thought maybe they've got a chance of getting out of it, but it looks a bit far-fetched now. I think they've left a bit too much to be done now. I think they'll probably end up coming back down, unfortunately, but that's the risk they take. But they've got that money in the bank. They've got the 180 million or whatever. They can rebuild, can't they?
Yeah. And you've also got as well, you've got the 3 teams that are going down, and then you've got to factor in the ones coming up who are not afraid to spend. Birmingham and Wrexham have deep pockets to a degree, and they will, they will certainly spend next season. Birmingham have absolutely romped League One, and they seem to, they seem to have a spring in their step, and it'll be interesting to see how they do as well. And the likes of Wrexham, who we know turned us over when we played them 3-4 years ago. Yeah,
exactly. Okay, shall we move on to the Pompey game then? Talk about the Pompey game on Wednesday night.
Yeah, I'll just say there's absolutely hundreds of comments, and I'm really sorry I can't read them all out. Not because my voice has gone, but there's so many. But I'll try and do my best. So we're not.
Do you want to read a few out now? Go on, read a few out now before we go to the Pompey game.
Right then. Well, Wayne Brewerton says, keep saying about 3 teams being strong. So why teams like Oxford and Portsmouth beat Sheffield United and Leeds? If they can beat them, why can't we even? I think we're saying is basically other teams can beat these top teams. Why can't we? Which is it's a fair comment. Andrew Albrighton, we just look prone to mistake. Teams don't have to work hard to score against us. Kevin Quinn, sorry, Princess, but when you talk so much waffle on, believe you talk for every Cov fan. That's you again. Now. I think
he loves me. He's got a real fetish for me.
I called you Princess. I wish nobody calls me Princess. Glenn Watkins.
The thing is, I like Ken because he gives as good as he gets. It's always good fun with him.
Yes, I'm one of the ugly sisters. I'm me and Ken. You could do a great thing about me and Ken. Wins with Sim starting under Frank is only 2 defeats in 12. Since he's not started, we've lost 2 in 3. Interesting point. Yet again, Haji Wright didn't turn up, did he? I thought yesterday. I know he scored the goal, but he didn't do enough for me up front against that guy. Need more out of him. I thought Grimes played too deep, says Ray Carolyn. I'd like to see him in a more advanced role. If he can see a pass apart from the stray one yesterday. Sheaf back in, and why do so many teams play with inverted wingers? Yeah, it's the new thing, isn't it? You have a winger, but they have to come inside all the time. Lee Dan, I know what Frank said to ref guys. You, ref, you, and so. Yeah. Loads of beeps.
Spot on, Lee. Spot on.
Cameron De Rossi, Naples. Well, I shall be flying into Naples in the end of July because I'm off to Sorrento for a week.
Oh, nice.
So, Come and join us at the hotel. We could do a live show from Sorrento.
Oh, you might be welcome for that.
I'll have Luca with me as well, so we could just do it. Yeah, a live pod from
You're going
Sorrento.
to be in your budgie smugglers.
Yeah, just as the club's being sold to Mike Ashley or something. We could talk about it week before the season starts. The curse of Claret and Blue strikes again. We haven't got a good record against Burnley, Villa, West Ham, even Scunthorpe. They're top of the what's it league, aren't they? Thought we wouldn't get a draw if it wasn't for the obvious massive mistake. From Napoli, I'm not messing around with Cameron De Rossi at all. Especially that estate near the airport. That's where the mafia hang out. Secondigliano, it's called. Yeah, it's. I was going to say rough. I better not say that in case Cameron lives there. It's a nice place. Burnley fans giving it large after the game. Muppets. Just for Cameron, my parents are from Puglia. We're right from the south. We've got the third biggest mafia, apparently. King Carlos, Burnley fans giving it large after the game. Muppets. Dan, I'm travelling down from Blackpool for the Pompey game and must win now. Well done, Dan. Lee, Dan, King Carlos, Burnley ain't up yet. Paul Stratton, next two games are massive. They both kick us off the pitch. Back to how we handle aggression. You'd like to think against Portsmouth we'll have some room. And Hull are rubbish at home. Oh, I've said it again. Lee, Dan would rather play Burnley in the playoff final than the other two. I think we'd beat them next time. See, you do agree with Wayne, Lee. He said you didn't, but you do. Dan, I think promotion is a long shot now, mainly because we can't beat Burnley, Sheffield United, Leeds. Lampard needs to sort of defence this summer. Did anyone listen to CWR? Matt Grimes, we're probably letting another freak goal before end of season. Hopefully you're not paid thousands a week to do basic work. Yeah, I did hear that, actually.
That's what he said. That we're
yeah. It doesn't give you confidence, does it? Lee Lishman, yeah, we're probably letting another freak goal. It's almost like they expect it. Lee Lishman, or is that kind of way? And we've all played in teams, I think, where you just think, oh, it's just the way it's going. We'll probably letting another freak goal. Probably hit the crossbar and hit the keeper on the head and go in. Lee Lishman, that's the difference. Didn't look safe when we went into the lead. As soon as they did, there was only one winner. We are not good enough to go up. If we get into the playoffs, we'll get found out. The sad thing is, as soon as they scored, I turned around, the guy next to me, and I just went, that's it. That's it. It's game over. Because of what's happened all season. And nothing to do with us. It's what they've done to every team when they've taken the lead.
Yeah.
Fart says, had you right joining Sheffield United in the summer? Half term on Friday. That's, but.
Half term Friday, yeah.
Well, it is, but there's, some private schools are finishing on Tuesday. Great reception for Dabo yesterday. Good to see. Yes, it was actually.
Yeah, we're going to talk a bit about the Legends Day at the end of the show, so we'll go over that. Yeah.
Pompey travel well, so may sell out away end, which will boost the crowd, but we won't sell out West Bromwich Albion and West Brom games. We'll be close to sellouts, 30k. Yeah, they'll sell theirs. The last game of the season will be chaos up there. If anything's riding on it.
I think all the remainder of their games at home are going to be close to sell out, aren't they?
So
I think I saw that Albion have sold out their allocation, haven't they? I think Albion have already sold out there first. Yeah.
Yeah. Even though they were moaning about 37 quid, but we've had to pay that in some games this season.
So Finn says, "Hang on, which impression is this?" Someone's put Tommy Cooper. I love it. It's funny. I'm okay with Collins, says Graham Hopkins, because he sang, they call it a batch. They call it a batch. Joshy and Patterson, they call it a batch. Tells me about character, and he has forlorn after the Ricky. The thing is, if he's in goal, we've got to get behind him. We've got to get behind our players the last 6 games. Claudio, is this your impression of Tommy Cooper live on stage? Oh, so sad, wasn't it? Because people thought he was messing about. That was Claudio's best impression yet. RFK Jr. So that was a possibility. I'd rather go up and see what we can achieve. I've always have in mind the sign that was held up saying we'll be back. I've wanted for years for that to come true. Paul Stratton, Claudio, do you think if we win the playoffs, Doug will ride off into the sunset with a pocket full of cash, Regrettably, I do not think he has money to take us to the next level. I reckon he'll, all of a sudden, we get promoted, we are worth selling. End of.
There's a lot of interest.
Let's not kid ourselves. We've got a really good fan base. We've got a half-decent stadium. It probably needs a bit of lick of paint. We know that. And odd repairs here and there. But you're in the Premier League. We're the 11th biggest city in the UK. Yeah. There's potential there for more. They can see that. And if the likes of Brighton, Bournemouth, Fulham, Crystal Palace, whoever else are in there can do it, why can't we? Bournemouth. I mean, Bournemouth, it's just, don't say Bournemouth. It's ridiculous. 11,000. 11,000. That's the size of their ground. 11,000. Taking the mick out of the big clubs this season. It's just ridiculous. Let's not talk about the owners they used to have, though. But there you go. They got away with it, didn't they? Daily Sports Photos. We have to take the chance to go up. If it comes along, it will probably mean a season of pain, but no one's going to die. The following season will be a richer and stronger championship side. Would you start Luke Bell against Pompey? Don't know. Apparently, the reports have been really good, though, where he's been.
Been outstanding, apparently.
So, maybe he's one for the future. Who knows? Adam Toms, if we go up and then come down, we get the money, but it's also the experience of players, coaches, club bosses, and us as fans will be better prepared to go up and make a go stay in the Premier League next time round. Mark Rainbow, the Pompey game is the start of the rest of the season. We've been through the tough games. Now it's in our hands. I think we have to put a statement performance in. Sometimes I agree with you, Wayne, Lee Dan says.
Thank you, Lee.
Trevor Merriman, Claudia, stop crying your heart out. Don't look back in anger, because if we get promoted after Lampard's master plan, we can have a champagne supernova up the city. Yes. Be wonderful, wouldn't it? Yes. One positive from the weekend, says Dave Sports Photos. Nick from Birmingham was back on CWR. Yes, I pointed out tonight on Friday night. If you could get him on, that would be the bigger scoop than Godden. Now, Matty Godden is due to come on the 17th.
Yes. We're
going to find out for definite now, because he said he doesn't know if the team are going to stay away on the night before the game, because obviously they're in the playoff situation. So if it doesn't happen on the 17th, it will happen shortly after. So it will happen. And it still can happen on the 17th.
Subject to the fixtures, I suppose.
Yeah. It's one of those things, isn't it? It's that close. So Graham Cockrell says Tuesday, Bristol, West Brom, and Middlesbrough v Leeds. There you go. Lee Lishman says, I know what fans mean. Promotion is a double-edged sword, but it's not like when we were in the Prem before. We'll be losing regularly, even to below-average teams. Financially fantastic, but I expect moaning. Oh, it's going to be a meltdown, isn't it? Right. Right. I'm going to let you. What we're going to talk about next?
Going to talk about Pompey. Big game then on Wednesday. We'll start with you then, Vic. Would you make any changes for the Pompey game? Maybe give Patterson a run out? We haven't really seen him start the game yet.
I mean, I thought the first few times he came on, he looked like he needed to get a bit of match fitness, a bit of like used to the players I suppose around him. But I thought against Sheffield United, I mean, it was obviously only a quite short cameo, but I thought he looked the best version that we've seen him, and probably the sort of player that we've seen play against us in the past. So what's to lose in giving him a start and seeing what he can do?
And maybe bring Sheaf back.
Yeah, although I was a bit worried about Sheaf because he was warming up in front of us on yesterday, and at one point he was like grimacing when he was running, and I was thinking like he sort of pulled up a little bit, and I was thinking I hope there's nothing going on there, and so I don't know. So if he's got niggles, I wouldn't be risking him. So I don't know. I mean, it might just have been that. I don't know. He was grimacing because we weren't doing very well. It might have been nothing to do with him at all. Who knows?
Who would you take out the team then, Vic? That's a big decision, isn't it? Who would you give a rest to?
Probably Alan. Probably give a rest to Alan, I think. Probably give. I think it. Like I said, EMC was limping in the second half at times. and he hasn't quite hit his form since he's come back from injury. And I just wonder whether he's still not 100%, and so maybe give him a rest and to bring Patterson in for him, or do we go back to what we've done in the past and shove Wright out there and bring Sims on up front, just to vary it up? I don't know. I mean, there's not a lot of options, but there's a couple of options, isn't there? That's probably. I think maybe give EMC and Allen a rest, and you could either bring.
Obviously, the keeper. We don't know what the situation with the keeper is. But I suspect that hopefully Ben Wilson will be back, but we don't know whether he is 100% fit.
Well, I said the trouble is we don't know. We thought that he probably wouldn't. We thought that Wilson would probably start. Well, when we discussed it on Thursday, we said we'd all go for Wilson. He didn't start. There must have been a reason, and that reason might still exist on Wednesday. So, I mean, it is what it is, isn't it? Lampard will pick a goalkeeper, and
and of course Lampard won't be on the touchline; he'll be in the stands, won't he? So it'll be interesting. So he'll have to put his assistants in charge, so that he'll get a bird's eye view, I suppose, up in the stands where we are of what's going on. No doubt he will have some sort of contact with the team below to get his instructions over. Wayne, would you make any changes for Wednesday night?
Yeah, I quite like the thought of dropping. Yeah, I probably would drop Allen, and it'd be a toss up between Torp and Patterson. Whether Patterson's fit enough to start yet, I'm not too sure. I haven't really seen a great deal of him. And then I quite like the idea of as Vicky said, maybe if EMC's injured and putting Wright out there, you've got Tats on one side, Wright on the other. The one thing, as frustrating as Wright can be when he is out wide, at least we know that he will take a player on. He doesn't have to do 15 step overs and then fall over or to then pass it backwards. He will try and take a player on, and then I'd probably bring if that gives the opportunity for Sims up front as well. So I think that's what I'd be looking at. And then goalkeeper wise, I don't know. I don't know anything about this young lad.
No.
If Wilson is fit, you would think that he would get ahead of Collins, but I still think Collins is going to start on Wednesday, and it will be a nervous time. But hopefully he can prove us all wrong, and if he does keep a clean sheet, we can chant his name at the end.
Well, we all hope he does, and it just unfortunate it's against Portsmouth, which was where all these problems started, weren't it? You remember in the earlier game when we lost 4-1 down at Pompey, when he made a couple of errors, didn't he? And that's when he got quit. He didn't play after that for a long time, did he?
No, he didn't. No, and it'd be nice as well just to see that intensity again. What we bought against Sunderland, I think that's just been the disappointment. Is that one game set the precedent for how we can play, but it just doesn't seem to have come back.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. All eyes on the goalkeeping position. I think first thing on Wednesday evening when the team selections come out. Claudia, what would you do in that? You're Frank Lampard. What would you do?
Oh, he'll have a good view from the stand, won't he? He might be able to see the mistakes sat up there, higher up.
Yeah.
And see what we see. Yes. What would I do? You know what? This is going to be an odd thing to say. I mean, if Wilson's not 100%, you can't change the keeper. You just keep it as it is. I don't think you can change the four at the back either, because.
Would you not be tempted to bring Binks in? Binks, maybe.
No, I mean, okay, there was a cock-up, wasn't it, basically? But you'd like to think that sort of cock-up's not going to happen again like that, and I don't think bringing in Binks is going to make much difference. He had a howler at Pompey, didn't he? When he played away, he was terrible that game. He was all over the shop.
No, they all did, didn't they? It weren't just him.
Yeah, but he wasn't. He didn't cover himself in glory that day, as long as with the keeper. they play with about 5 players in midfield and 1 man up front. They're going to come here 4-5-1, I'd imagine. Are they safe yet? They probably need about a couple of more wins, don't they? I think.
Yeah, I think they need probably 6 points. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, they're on 45 at the minute.
Yeah, we cannot lose to a team who's got an ex-Leamington FC player playing up front for them, for God's sake. Yeah, only about 5-6 seasons ago, he was playing for AB Leamington.
And we owed them one after that first game down at Fratton Park.
I mean, midfield-wise, it's so difficult because EMC on his game, he's not going to get the 2 wide players aren't going to be marked like they were marked against Sheffield United and Burnley. They're going to have far more space. These next 2 games coming up, they really are winnable matches. The Portsmouth fans are going, good job we got enough points. I can't see it. We're going to get hammered going to Coventry on Wednesday. They're not looking at this weekend thinking, oh no, they've lost to Burnley. They must be rubbish. They're not thinking that at all. They're looking at the league table thinking we're going to a place where they're not losing many games. And we've got to take it to them, basically. Be on the front foot, like we did against Sunderland. Be aggressive. Up front, you can't change it either. I think Wright plays down the middle at the minute. Regardless of what we think of it, he's got to turn up, basically, hasn't he? He has to turn up now. In fact, they all have to turn up. Midfield's the problem, I think, because if we don't know what's going on with bench.
Would you bring Sheaf back? He's been on the bench last few matches.
See, for me, Torp, when he comes on as a sub, rarely does anything. These are hard games to come into as a sub to come on Saturday and have an impact. And his touch was terrible, wasn't it? The first 2 or 3 touches, he just gave the ball away. And towards the end, he had that chance to slip a ball through, didn't he? It was an awful connection. And I think maybe he should start.
I also worry as well with Grimes and Sheaf that they're kind of both in the same role.
Similar sort of players, yeah.
Yeah, and I just think having them together, that midfield will be very, very slow.
I mean, surely Murphy can't have that good a game again against us. It can't happen. You got Dazal. These are players that
I think he's injured that Murphy.
He played on Saturday. The guy who scored all the goals against us is injured. But
was he? Okay.
We're better than them. The league table shows we are better than them. We had a terrible... We know what happened at their place. He had a mare, didn't he? But the first 15 minutes, we should have been 2 or 3 goals up.
Yeah.
We should have been ahead. We should have been out of sight. It should have been game over. And we conceded a goal and we fell apart. We did a classic Cov thing where we can do that. I'd like to think we'd take them on Wednesday. The starting 11, whoever they are, they should be. There's enough there to beat Portsmouth, and there's enough there to beat Hull away as well. We've got to be confident now. I mean, we've played 2 of the hardest teams, if not the 2 hardest teams to play against in the division. Burnley away from home. They've let in, only, is it now 7 goals all season away from home? And then Sheffield United at home, who up until recent weeks, I think they'd won 7 in a row, hadn't they, before the last 2 or 3 home games. These are top teams, and we played them both. We didn't get embarrassed by either, did we? If you look at it in a positive way. We probably weren't as good as them, but we weren't embarrassed. And I think on Wednesday, regardless of who he starts, there's enough. Even if he puts Latibaudiere in the team, whoever, there's enough there to win this game. And we just got to be positive. We've got to be positive.
It's about us turning up, isn't it? If we turn up, we've got enough. So, I mean, I'd start Torp because I think that his best performances, he's an incredibly frustrating player because you'll see a performance like the other week against
Sunderland.
And the game before, I think, was it the game before when he got the 2 goals, or was it another game that he got the goals? I've forgotten now. It's all merged into blur. But his best performances for us are at home, starting the game. And that's why it's frustrating because then you go away and you're thinking that's not even the same player. What is going on? But even coming on as a sub, he struggles sometimes to influence it. So I think against Portsmouth, you start him and ask for that performance that we've seen against the likes of Sunderland and earlier on in the season at home. and because then I'm not sure whether you can play him against Hull away, because I think the risk is he doesn't turn up again. So maybe you bring Alan back in for that game. So you give Alan a rest on Wednesday, ready to bring Alan back in against Hull, because he is more influential away from home. He can still do his job. So
it's like with Wright as well, isn't it? Wright just doesn't ever seem to want to play away from home.
No.
As well, it's so frustrating.
Yeah, he struggles, doesn't he?
It's weird. Two different players, like a home and away. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It's
So how many points then would you say, Claudio, we need now? The playoffs. How many more wins?
Geez, we've got 6 games left.
We're winning out of games. Yeah, 6 games left. How many of them do we need to win?
Right. If this was the start of the season, okay, blank bit of paper, I'm looking at a win at Portsmouth. I would minimum expect a draw at Hull.
Yeah.
You've got the Baggers at home. That's a draw for me. I'm just going on if it was the start of the season and no history beforehand. Yeah. We then got Plymouth. Is that right?
Yeah.
See, Plymouth is a hard one. I think that's a really, really tricky game, Plymouth.
They won yesterday as well, didn't they?
Yeah. But I'd still say a point there. So we're up to 6 now. This isn't enough, is it? And then we've got the 2 games left. Luton away could be a draw as well, you see, because it's the last gasp saloon for them. Now they're winning. Their recent form, the last 6 games, 3 wins, 2 draws and a loss. They've all some fine in form. So I reckon we could beat Middlesbrough.
And then you've got Middlesbrough at home.
I reckon out of those 6 matches, we're going to get, I would say, the minimum we'll get is 9 points. That's the minimum. I'm not saying that's enough. It might not be, but it could be. Because I don't think the other teams are going to do much better anyway. Because obviously, we'll take 3 points off Middlesbrough. We'll take a point off West Brom, you see. So that's going to slow them down. But I reckon a minimum we'll get is 9 points. A minimum. Not the maximum, the minimum.
I think that might just be enough. Victoria, how many points do you think? 6 games to go?
I think Claudio's probably got that pretty much right. I think the worry is I think the worry is that won't be enough. And I think the main worry is that what is likely to happen now, because of how the last couple of weeks have gone, is that we will be going into Middlesbrough. That's going to be a winner takes all game, and we didn't really want that. We wanted it to be
we don't want that.
But I think it's becoming more and more likely that game will be a winner takes all end of season clash, and don't particularly want that. But it is
bloody exciting though, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah. Not very good for the blood pressure though, is it?
Yeah,
not for the faint-hearted, would it? No. Wayne, how many points do you reckon?
I think we'll need 11.
11,
and I really do think that Plymouth, Luton are absolute banana skins. I think they're going to be horrible fixtures, because Luton I don't think we generally do well, and I worry that Luton will bully us because they're such a big physical team, and I don't think we do that well against teams like that. Plymouth, they're kind of like us. You never know what you're going to get on the day. And they picked up a good result yesterday, and then I'd probably say West Brom as well, because I think we've got a stinking record at the CBS against West Brom.
Although we did beat them last year 1-0 with a big.
Is that their place?
No, we lost at home. We lost away this year, but we beat them at home last year. We beat them at home last year.
I'm sure we lost last year. Santi's, that was the year before.
Because Asante got the goal last year.
No, the year that Big Vic scored a last-minute penalty, didn't he? Was that the year before?
It was the playoff season, I suppose.
I remember Vic scored a penalty against them in midweek game.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't last year, because last season we lost because I know Asante scored.
Yeah, that's right.
But I think those 3 fixtures for me are, it's the Plymouth and the Luton especially. I think could be so difficult. Because we know sometimes how poor we can be away from home, and it's ideally you'd love to go into the Middlesbrough game knowing where you are, and we don't need anything, but it'd also be fantastic. Last game of the season, winner takes all.
Winner takes it all.
Yeah, it would. It'd be great, but obviously I don't want to, but it would be a brilliant day. especially if we won.
Their fans will be sick of seeing us because what we did to them.
Yeah,
when we played them in the
and I'd fancy us against Middlesbrough because I think we've got a great record against them, so I'd fancy them. So it's like when Claudio says when we were playing Sunderland at home, he had no concerns with that match at all, and I'd kind of feel the same with the Borough.
We're in the top 5 us and Borough for goals scored, and I think we might be in the other end for the goals conceded. It's ridiculous. Both the clubs have scored. I'm just looking now. They've scored 61, let in 49. We've scored 57, let in 53. It could be a 4-all game, couldn't it? That. And I'll show you how bad the goals against is. 53 goals conceded. We've conceded, I think, more goals than Derby, who have lost 21 matches this season. Yeah. That's how bad it is. The amount of goals we've conceded is ridiculous. And we've only scored 57. It's not like we're,
And that just proves why we say the defence isn't good enough. It's not being negative. They are not good enough.
We scored more goals than Burnley and Sheffield United.
Yeah.
We scored the same amount of goals as Sunderland. We scored more goals than Bristol. We scored more goals than West Brom. We're scoring goals actually. It's what we've conceded. We're tighter at the back. And that's what's going to cost us. Well, we know it's going to cost us. The first half of the season is what's going to cost us. I know we're letting in goals now, but the first half of the season we weren't winning games either, were we? The voice is going again. What's going on here tonight?
Well, just before you read some more comments out, I know you've got a few. We'll just go through a few things. Micky Quinn night, Friday, May the 2nd. 7:00, quiz and raffle at the Wolfsgrave Workingmen's Club. We're hosting that event. Miles and the team, and myself and Claudia and Vicky, we'll all be down there. It'll be a good night with a few stories to tell, I'm sure, from Big Micky Quinn. So make sure you get down there. And as we said earlier, Matty Godden is due here on the 17th of April live. That is dependent, obviously, on his fixtures. He's still playing, obviously, for Charlton Athletic, and they are in a sort of playoff situation. So that may change. If it does, he will definitely be on at some stage. It might not be the 17th, but at the moment, it's still the 17th until we're told otherwise. So
it's because Ken, it's because they're playing the next day, and he doesn't know they have to go away the night before.
That's right. Yeah, so he might have to stay overnight. So obviously, he won't be available to come on the show. But we'll keep you updated with that one. Of course, we're going down. The team, we're on tour. We're all going down to lovely Plymouth on the bank holiday weekend. Staying at the Moxie Hotel. South, Miles, and the team are all going down there. And we've got some Cov fans. We've got a couple of Plymouth fans coming along as well. We're doing a live show. That's Sunday, the 20th of April, from 7:30. So please come and join us. You're all welcome. Because we're going out for a few beers afterwards as well, I believe. So that'll be interesting. That's live then at the Moxie Hotel in Plymouth on the Sunday before our game on the Monday against Plymouth. So that'll be something to look forward to. And if you're going down to Plymouth, you book your coaches with Big Travel, ccfctravel.co.uk, coach travel provider, full Coventry City away matches. So you just have to go on the site and book up with them. And parking, big parking, Coventry parking.co.uk, home and away parking, away matches as well. If you want to pre-book your parking, safe and secure for the home games and away games. They've got all the list of games available and parking slots available online. So make sure you go on there. Also, Keaton's Day. We all know about what happened. A very sad event happened to this young lad. The 14th of June, Daimler Green. It's 11 a.m. start. Now, that may change venue. At the moment, it's a Daimler Green, but it may change venue. We'll let you know on that. Pound entry, and there's a lot of charities involved in that day as well. So it'll be a big fun day to raise a few funds for that event. That'll be great. So I hope to see you down there. Okay, Claudia, you've got a few more comments, I presume, before we wrap it up?
Yeah, so I'd just like to say, if you do go with the Big Travel, you'll be joining me and Ken on Monday night.
Yes, we are travelling with Big Travel on Monday night to Hull, so we're looking forward to that.
Yes,
that's an advert for no one to book.
Well, they might be sold out now. After that That could swing the pendulum, as they say.
Yeah. We'll soon find out.
Or in King's case, swing the other way. Anyway, Lee Beckett, Paul Crossley, good discussion, but come on, sour grapes. I'm hearing every club does and would do this when you're at the top, when you're one up away in a massive game. You're right, Paul. We know that, but it hurts when you don't mind if the referee stamps down on it, but he didn't, did he? That's the problem, I think. It just got ridiculous. Alan Arkins, Grimes is much more consistent in his passing than Sheaf. Sheaf's passing is dreadful for a centre mid. Mark Lights reckons 2-1. We'll have to do our prediction soon, won't we? Adam Thomas, Grimes, Torp was only midfield for me. Torp played that great through ball to right against Sunderland for his hat-trick and can score himself. I think what Vicky said is right. When he starts the game, he looks a different player. Too many individual errors cost us, says the playoff spot. Alan Arkins. Ian Small reckons 14 points. Steve Porter, 3 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw. We need to win them all to be sure. Obviously, yes. Matthew Stone reckon we'll go right down to the wire. The last game of the season is going to be a big one. P-Lol, playoffs or not, our turnaround has been incredible. Hope players that would have otherwise pushed for a transfer this summer had we finished mid-table or below are keen to stick with the project. Paul Stratton, I just fear that games at Hull, Plymouth and Luton will be harder than West Brom and Borough, and we will see what the team are made of. Tom Wright, 10 points, last 6 games. Middlesbrough is going to be squeaky bum time, says Realms of Possibility. Marky Boy, Patterson should be given a run. The little he's played so far, he's looked good, quick movement, pressing and pass accuracy. People calling for Bissett for his inexperience at this stage of the season. P-Lol, another point, unlike in previous years, with the likes of O'Hare, Yokeres and Hamer, don't think there's any players that are too worthy of being poached by bigger clubs. You can see the importance of Victor in that playoff season, can't you? When you look at Victor yesterday would have been great for us because that's what you need in a game like that. And you can see the difference, I think. Borough want revenge on us in the last game for the playoff semi-final as well. Mark Light, where do you think would be if Mark Robbins was still in charge? Who knows?
I mean, we just don't know.
I don't think he was going to turn it round. I really don't. No, and nothing to do with his ability. I just feel like
I think he lost it when AD left. Really, he didn't really recover after that, did he?
There's a lot of factors behind that. I just don't think the team were responding to him at all, and it needed a change. Unfortunately, I know he had a couple of results close to when he got dismissed, but the Derby game was a clincher for me. That's a game we had to win, and to lose a game where they only had 1 shot on goal doesn't help, does it? Really?
Poor, very poor, wasn't it?
2-1. They had 1 shot on target, and we put the other one in for them. Norwich game has cost us losing 2-1 last 2 minutes, but we did get wins at Sheffield Wednesday. There's quite a few last-minute winners. QPR was another one. So we've done a bit of both, haven't we, really? I think the damage was done at the start of the season. Playoffs are now a slim chance. Goals scored, great. We needed to win our defence and with our defence and current goalkeeper. Alan Arkins, need Leeds to do us a favour on Tuesday night. Maybe a draw between Bristol and West Brom would suit us. Nothing less than the win against Portsmouth otherwise. Yeah, so if Leeds win, so obviously Middlesbrough on 60 points. We win, we go to 62. Bristol and West Brom draw, they'll be 61 and 58. It'll be happy days again, won't it?
Yeah.
Then we're looking at a win at Hull, and we're nearly there.
Who's panicking? Who's panicking?
So there you go. Tom Wright, back 4. Binks in for De Silva at left back. Interested. I don't think that'll happen.
No.
I don't think anyone's panicking yet as well. I think people will panic if we don't get a result in the next 2 games.
Yeah.
Well, it's important. It's important we pick 3 points up on Wednesday, I think, to get us back to winning ways, and people will feel a bit more confident after that.
if we lose the next 2 games, Millwall, Watford will probably catch us up. Never mind losing.
Yeah.
So
I can't see that happening. I think we'll win. I think we'll win on Wednesday. And I think we'll win at Hull.
All right, should we do predictions then? The results?
Yeah, let me just 1 minute. Let me just want to quick mention about the Legends Day.
Oh, yeah.
Which happened on Saturday. We've got a picture of the there. They all are on the pitch. Who's your favourite legend, Claudia?
Oh, that's a good question. Oh, majority on that picture.
Really?
Yeah,
I've got to go for Tommy Hutch, I think.
I know, but that's like an obvious one. But Gary Thompson, for me, I mean, obviously I remember Tommy Hutchinson, but as a kid, Gary Thompson, Ian Wallace were there yesterday, brilliant. And of course, you got some of the 87 lot. But I think majority of those guys who put a shirt on for Coventry City are legends. I mean, you don't have to. It's no good saying, we didn't win anything, because let's face it, majority of our players have never won anything at Coventry City. There's only a handful of players that have overall, with all the thousands of players who played for us. But, and I was a bit upset with comments about Dabo and all that. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it was nice. I would say it was nice when he came out. I stayed at half time in the stadium to watch them all getting called out, and he got a great reception, Dabo, which is brilliant. The first time we've been back to the club after they missed that penalty, and everybody was all on their feet applauding him, and he got a great reception.
It's a great day, and we're the best club at doing it. There's probably 2 or 3 clubs that do something similar, but nothing to the scale that we do it at. The lounge was upstairs; it was full, absolutely heaving. It was. Yeah. I had to do a detour to get to the box. It's just not on.
Vicky,
Vicky, immortals who have to, walk past, thousands of people just to get a drink, and there's you complaining about a small detour to the bar whilst munching on your prawn sandwich.
I remember it reminded me of that. We used to go to a nightclub and they go, "Yeah, follow me this way," and then they take you out the fire exit. Where are they taking us? They're going to take us out of the building.
Don't come back. Vicky, your favourite legend that was maybe on that picture? Do you have any favourites?
Obviously, quite a few before my time, unfortunately. But my first ever favourite player was there, who I actually met last year I went upstairs and did the meal upstairs and everything, and met some of the players last year. So I actually told him that he was my first ever favourite player, and that's John Williams. And I saw he was there again this year.
The flying postman.
Yeah, so he was obviously playing when I first started going, and he was one of my first favourites. And he's a very nice man as well. Like, he was really friendly when I bumped into him last season, so that was nice. And then there's
nice Max Biamu was there as well.
He's another fan favourite, isn't he? I just think, like Claudia said, there's been some idiots, for want of a better word, on social media having a dig at Dabo and things like that. Fundamentally, all these players at some point have pulled on a sky blue shirt, and they're happy to come back and respect the fact that they played for our club and sort of be part of that. They haven't gone over that. Like, Coventry wasn't part of my history. Don't care about that club. Like, it's a two-way thing, isn't it? Like, they don't have to give up their time to come back. And so I just think, like, they're all players for us. They've all contributed to our history in one way or another. Obviously, some have had an opportunity to win something. The majority, unfortunately, haven't, but that's more about the club than them, isn't it? And I just think they're here. So get behind all of them. And Dabo, actually, he has won something. He like player of the season and promotion. So of the people,
he was player of the season for us, wasn't he? I think in League One.
See, people have got very short memories, haven't they? Sometimes very short memories of what them players achieved for us previously.
So I was really pleased with the welcome, because he did look a bit nervous, like he was thinking what reaction will I get. And then he looked emotional that he got, and I was just really pleased at that. Like, the majority showed that we all remember what he did for us.
Yeah, and that was nice, because that was his first time we've been back to the club since that day at Wembley. So we didn't really have a chance to say goodbye to him, because he obviously left the club. That was his last ever game. Yeah, that was his last ever game. Wayne, did you have a favourite?
I mean, like, there's a fair few on there who are way before my time. I always remember seeing, Noel Whelan back in the day. But I actually, Vic said earlier, I have a bit of a soft spot for old Biamu, mainly because as well, it took him so long to get a goal for us. But then when he did score, it was always bloody top draw goals from him.
Yeah.
He
Still
really
remembering
did.
that goal against Notts County, that overhead kick.
Yeah, the overhead kick, and you think when he did the scissor kick, I think it was at Peterborough.
Yeah.
He just seemed to score long range efforts and just smack it from anywhere, and it was he was great. So, and he's kind of stuck with the club as well. He seems to appear all the time and always be in the background. So, so I think Noel Whelan and old Biamu for me.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, when they were calling them out, when Billy Bell was calling them out, even David Speedy was there, wasn't he, yesterday? It was nice to see him. And what a great job he did for the club.
He scored some great lobs in the day, didn't he?
Yeah.
David Speedy, just dinking those goalkeepers.
And he took no prisoners either, did he?
No, not at all.
He's doing a bit like aggression like that now at the minute.
I think Kevin Gallagher was there as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was one of my first favourites.
He was, yeah. It's always a great day, Legends Day, and it's great to see some of the old players coming home, but we don't tend to win the game, unfortunately. Every time we play a game at home, did we win the last one? Not sure.
Well, we beat Sheffield United 4-1 that time. We beat Bury 6-0, was it? 6-1. So it's just
we've lost a few, haven't we?
We didn't win last season.
We lost last season.
Lost last season, I remember. Yeah,
that was the last game of the season, wasn't it? It was a bit of a shambles, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. We've got an excuse for that, I suppose. Anyway, let's do the predictions for Wednesday night. Pompey in town. Claudio, you going to sit on the fence, or are you going to go for a home win?
You know what? It's going to be. We're playing Portsmouth, aren't we?
Pompey, yeah.
Yeah. And of course, that's where Charles Dickens comes from.
Yes.
In this tale of two cities, we're going to give them an absolute pasting. Okay. I think.
What? How many?
A nice 3-0.
Oh,
3-0.
I'll tell you what. I'll be disappointed if it wasn't.
Okay,
this stage of season, they should have the hunger. Come on. We should have, if they can do Sunderland 3-0, they can do Portsmouth 3-0.
Well, doesn't always work out that way, as you know, but down to on the day, isn't it? So you're going 3-0, okay, Vicky?
I've got great expectations for this game.
Well,
I'm glad thinking of Charles Dickens novels in my head. Then I'll come up with another one in a minute. Martin Chuzzlewit doesn't work, does it? Or Bleak House. Oh, it could be a Bleak House if we lose, couldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Vic,
I was going to say 3-0 as well. Am I allowed to say 3-0 now that Claudio said it?
Go 4-0.
4-0, okay.
Go 4. Wow. Well, they scored 4 against us early in the season, so we owe them 1, don't we? So
we do.
Yeah. Wayne.
I think we're going to have a nervy opening 10 minutes, followed by 80 minutes of Brazilian style and Barcelona style football, and beat them 3-1.
Oh, 3-1. Okay, be interesting.
Yeah, I don't think we'll keep a clean sheet, but I think we're going to have I just think there'll be a few nerves for the first 10 minutes, and I hope it doesn't. Usually we say we can tell how the result's going to go. Well, within the first 5-10 minutes. I think we'll have a nervy opener, and then we'll get in our stride. So 3-1.
3-1. Well, we'll all take that. I'm going to go 4-1. I am. So I think we'll get revenge on that early defeat at Fratton Park early in the season. I'm going to go for a 4-1 win. So hopefully that will come true. I think that's about it, Claudio. We've been on for over 2 hours.
Blimey.
Believe it or not, it's 9:45.
Is it?
Our bedtime. Way past our bedtime, yeah.
Oh, they let the black on for 2 hours already. I'm sure we said we'd keep it short tonight.
Well,
keep on. You keep talking too much, Ken. That's what it is.
So much to talk about. Isn't there? A very, very eventful game, wasn't it? So But yeah, well, that's it then. We'll wrap it up then. Our next live show is Thursday with Miles and the team. We'll be back on Thursday. I'll be at work because I'm on afternoons this week, so I won't be on. But Miles and that will be back.
I'll put it out there. We've got a place on the panel. If you want to come on, the panel on Thursday, do get in touch with any of us. Let us know. You can come on the panel. Tell us what you think.
Yeah, just send us an email, send us a message. Don't forget to if you haven't got to get your guesty gate in. I think Vic has got a lot of them down, haven't you? You got them written down?
I've got all of them down.
You got them all down. Okay, that's fine. We'll put them all in the draw for Thursday's show. We'll do the draw Thursday and let you know who the winner of the Sky Blue Fans TV mug is. That's it then. We've run out of time, unfortunately. We've got to go. We've all got work in the morning. Thanks very much for all the comments. And thanks very much for Wayne for coming on. Thank you.
Pleasure, as always. Always good to yeah.
Yeah, for your opinion. Yeah,
not everyone likes it, but
no, it's all a matter of opinion, mate. It's all about opinions. And thank you, Vicky.
Claudio, anyway, his thought process ripped off of me.
Thanks, Vic. That's normal. Thank you. Thank you, Ellie Sims, as well, sitting behind you.
Still not moved.
Saved himself a Wednesday in his hat trick.
Yeah, well, you never know. He might be starting. And thanks, Claudio, as normal.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Thursday night, and let's hope we don't fall on any hard times against Portsmouth. I'll just shove another novel in there for you.
Right. Okay, then, that's it then. We'll see you all for our next live show on Thursday. Let's hope we get 3 points against Pompey on Wednesday night. Very good evening to you, and it's big play up Sky Blues.
Yeah, play up Sky Blues.
Sky Blue Fans TV, for the fans, by the fans.